Welcome into the Cam and Strick podcast, episode number 147.
What Hey, did you see how jacked I looked over the weekend with the Carlos shirt he had? He got me. Unbelievably comfortable. And I look fucking jacked. I mean,
okay.
I don't know what to say.
Time out. No, it's a great shirt. And I like Carlos shirts, but why do you take a picture like that? Like, why do you have to just stand there like a normal person? Like,
no, because I'm not normal. Because I'm not normal. And if I want to give him attention via Instagram and like tag his shit, I got to flex my fucking jacked ass arms. And then once I do that, more people look at it and comment, and it just helps all parties.
A little douchey.
Little douchey. Yeah, that's true. That is certainly true. But I got the A-OK from Kate, so it's like, what the fuck? If she gives me the okay, I'm like, oh, that's normal to do, you know?
Okay, let's talk about the next video you put up. And now that we're on the video, I got a whole, lots of input
fucked up.
Response to a few of these.
8 and I were jamming, homie.
Are you guys trying to recreate, like, a set from, like, The Bachelor? Like what are you trying to do there?
Was that, is that a joke?
You ever watch The Bachelor? You ever watch The Bachelorette?
Nah.
They're on, like, the one-on-one date. It's, like, dark.
Yeah.
And they're just sitting there drinking. Like, what are you doing? It's like scary. You have like scary music going on. It was like haunted. The moon. Like you show the moon like overlook. Hold on. It was like a haunted picture, yet like trying to be The Bachelor. I don't know what was going on.
What is haunted in the I don't get the Bachelor tie-in. I don't understand it. Here's what I have to find. When you live out in the middle of nowhere, I look for alien life. Because I have a power plant 6 miles away from here, and aliens are attracted to power plants. And so my point was, Kate and I had a lovely weekend. We're getting our fucking minds right. I'm kicking my fucking feet up. You could see the stars out here in the wealthy part of Franklin County. You could see the stars and the galaxies kind of rotate, and this moon's bright. And we're stargazing, jamming to old school 90s techno from Russia. It's called PPK. It's a badass techno song. And I just was in the jam mode. We're drinking some good wine, baby. And I was looking for UFOs because they're attracted to power plants.
You believe in aliens?
Yeah. I mean, again, like I like looking at satellites cruising around, shit like that. Do I believe in them? Absolutely. Absolutely do. I absolutely think there's now intelligent life is a different scenario. Okay. There's life out there, but is there intelligent life? I mean, it's hard not to think that way either. I don't want to be, I'm not a skeptic. I don't know. I have an open mind at different things. I think there was an advanced life before the Ice Age, actually.
Okay. Yeah. I kind of.
You want to get weird, Andy? Are we getting weird today?
No, I gotta change the subject here.
But I'm just letting you know.
You say you live in the middle of nowhere. Like, don't you have like neighbors and like it's like a neighborhood, right? It's like a golf course right there. You're not like you're not like 11,000 elevation with like thousands and thousands and thousands of stars where it's clear skies. I mean, you're like surrounded by people, right?
Well, I'm not in, Arizona mountains like you're going to, of course, draw a correlation to for some odd reason because you went there for 2 years and you saw stars. Yeah, I get that. No, we're not in the mountains. And yeah, there's still civilization around here. But,
I lived in Arizona actually for 5 years. And you know what? Speaking of UFOs, a lot of people out there in New Mexico, which is a bordering state. Dude, that's where they all go. All the UFOs are out there in New Mexico.
UFO highway, dude. I would love to take a fucking badass convertible, take the girls. Actually, I want to drive her because I don't even want to drive. I just want to look at the sky, taking a convertible and go on that UFO highway. I think that's in New Mexico, man, where it just kind of goes. And, I think it's the same highway where all the movies are at where it's just nothing. And they see all the, you could see for miles and miles in the skyline. That's kind of why they call it because it's really creepy and cool. But that would be badass. Get your fucking mind right. Have a driver. Yeah. And just chill in the back and look at that UFO highway. Yeah, I think that's in New Mexico, Andy. I don't know. I'm surprised you haven't been there.
No, Nevada, New Mexico. I mean, that's kind of like the area. But I can talk to CJ and see if he wants to come down and drive the convertible. CJ, who drives my boat. my own personal driver. He'd be happy to do it. Be happy
the 23-year-old Jack kid that's creeping your wife out the whole time. Yeah, you got to start driving your own boat. We don't need to get back into that subject, but you got to drive your own boat at this point.
Okay, so were you like golfing, or did you like just play a hole or two? Like,
no, I golf.
Did you shoot like a 62?
I wasn't good. No, Andy, it's not good. It's not good. It's just not good. And I'm just gonna Kate and I are gonna get lessons next Sunday, and we're gonna go from there. Because I got it. I just don't have it, right? Like it's there, but I'm so off to where I was losing so many balls off. I could hit a 7-iron. You know what I started doing? And this guys, my church, I just hit a 7-iron the whole time. And I just bogey. I bogey every hole, but that's fine. I bogeyed every hole, or par or bogeyed, and I just use a 7-iron. Bing, right off the bat. Yeah. Hit it fucking 140 yards, 140 yards, and just take my 60 wedge, boom, get that mug in there, and my putting game's okay. Because I can line up right, because I can see the hole, and I don't know. My putting game's fine. Your putting game's probably going to be good, too, because you play hockey, kind of. But my drive, man, I fucking slice it. So I'm either hurting somebody, I'm losing balls left and right, and it's just frustrating as fuck. But then I just hit a 7 the whole time, just chipped away.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm best at too.
Whatever.
Well, the 7-iron, like the irons. I mean, you're right, man. The driver, that is the toughest ball to control. You ever watch these like 12-year-olds on social media who just hit it like straight 250 yards?
Let me tell you something. Kate's so scared to even go up to the driving range when there's people around. But I'm like, fuck it. I don't give a fuck anymore. And I went up there and I'm hitting. And this guy, probably very successful, just looked the part, And he goes up and he's just hitting him right down the pipe. Like, oh, I'm like, oh, God. And he's kind of looking at me. I'm like, hi. And I'm like duffing him, like hurting my wrist. Like, it's just embarrassing. Then his fucking kids come up. Andy, his kids are 5 years old. And they come up and they hit it farther than I did. And I'm like, good. Hey, confidence. See you later. You suck at life. A child just hit it right down the pipe. And I'm like, I'm literally duffing. I'm like, and I look back at Kate and she's just laughing. I'm like, oh, God. And we just went out there and we had a good time. And I hit them a little bit better. But these 5-year-old kids line the ball up like, ding, right down the pipe. And I'm like, God damn, man.
I know. Ty's little buddy.
I wanted to smack him, but I didn't do it.
Ty's little buddy took him to the golf course like a week and a half ago. Like they had a little day out in the golf course. Like this kid plays golf like all the time with his dad. Yeah, and they invited Ty. I'm like, keep inviting him. I want Ty to be better than me.
Oh, Andy, get him into it. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Get him into that, man. I just saw, you know what the best thing in the world is? And I don't have kids, but I live vicariously through a lot of people who have kids that do have kids. And I there's only a certain amount of kids I like, because a lot of kids are kind of annoying. And I'm like, and they're like, look at my kid, he's the best. And I know he's not. But I love your kids. I love some of my buddies' kids, and they're the cutest kids ever, and I'll do anything for them. But I saw a thing in the MLB where this cat, I think his last name's Gilbert or something, from Arizona. Oh, yeah. And he threw a no-hitter, Andy, and his dad.
First start.
His daddy's up there, who's getting older. And you could just tell I fucking grinded it. And he's crying. And his wife or his sister, and the euphoric high and the emotion they got. Oh, my God. I just want you to feel that, dude. My parents got to feel that goddamn thing. I'd scored in front of them. I did, and they'd cry. My wife would cry. And everybody's like, oh, remember we talked about that, Andy? Where you're like, well, look at these guys over. No, it is so emotional. And you're going to see it with Chloe. I talked about this on the radio today. I even brought you up. I go, you're going to see it with Chloe. You're going to see it with Ty. You're going to see it with Ivy. They're going to do something where you're going to be so fucking emotionally invested into, and they're going to kick ass, and you're going to cry in front of grown men. And it is what it is, homie. And I saw that the other day when that cat threw that no-hitter, and it was just the coolest thing in the world. So all you parents out there, invest in shit. It doesn't have to be the Stanley Cup winner. It's going to be a home run. It's going to be a nice goal, and you're going to bond with your kid, and you'll never forget it. Take that down, motherfucker. Take that fucking shit down. I'm telling you. I've seen it. And even if you don't make it, that little bond where you're both so emotional, it will take your relationship and your fatherhood to another level.
Well, I don't really like
I'm telling
you to talk about it. I mean, but listen. We had Chloe had a soccer game this past weekend. 2 hours away, we drove there. She scored the game-winning goal, dude. It made the entire trip worth it. The entire trip was worth it because of her being able to contribute to a victory. She got the game winner second half. It wasn't even her team, man. It was another team that asked her to come play for the weekend.
Oh,
so,
it's the best too.
I know.
So she's like, "Hi, everyone," and she's pretty big, eh? Like, she's pretty big,
tall,
she's a tall girl,
very strong.
She's fucking bigger than you, Andy. Let's be honest.
A little bit.
And she looks very athletic.
Yeah.
And she just when that happened, were you like? So what's your? I know this is kind of, but people can relate. These guys driving, they can relate to this shit. But whenever that happened, were you like, "Fuck yeah, fucking yeah," or were you like, "Oh, good job," and look at your wife and like winked? Like, how'd you react to that?
I stay calm because like you're almost nervous during the games. Like you can't really control it. Like the one thing that all I care about is that they truly are like working hard. And they're not like they leave it all out there. Like you just can't you got to empty the tank, as they say. So, you get a little bit frustrated early on, especially with a different team. Like, she's obviously, there's a little bit of nerves that come with that, whatever. You got a different coach, all that type of stuff, But, when she scores, man, you feel legitimately good because, she feels good. You see her reaction to it. It just makes you feel good. And the type of goal that she scored, I told her afterwards, man, I said, the type of goal that you scored is because of the work that you put in the backyard every single day, just in terms of like developing her ability to kick. And in that situation, having the confidence to be able to finish off the play, dude. That's exactly what she did. Now, I don't normally like talking about my kids and all that type of stuff, but since you asked,
I brought it up.
It makes you feel good. My wife, who has no idea what's going on, Cam. Like,
oh, really? Yeah.
This is becoming frustrating.
Well, let her know then. Then let her teach her ass then.
She doesn't know who's shooting where, which goal they're shooting on, who's going. Oh my God, dude! It is like,
let her. Come on, that's what you do for a living. Let her know what the hell's going on. My dad told my mom. Imagine like Ty's fighting guys, and your wife's like, what does that mean? Oh, he's getting punched in the face by a kid that's a month. So my mom had to go through some weird ass, but she needs to know what's going on. But let me say, like, I'm gonna get even a little bit deeper with this. All you parents out there with your kids, and I know you guys are fucking diehard, and some of you are more than others. But that euphoric high that they get, the natural euphoric high that your son or daughter gets in conjunction with you, Andy, and your wife and your grandmother and their aunts and uncles that watch it, that particular play in their life when you're young, that emotion that you get to where you're like taking heroin, man. And they just listen to me on this, but you get that, and you get that feeling, and you want it again, and so you want to do more, and you want that feeling again and again and again. And the kids that don't do that, they want that feeling, but they go into different areas to get it. So my point is with sports, and even if you don't go all the way, it doesn't matter. When you're young and you score a goal like that, and your mom and dad love you for the first, like, give you raw emotion, excite, because all you do is bullshit around the house, and they yell at you, and all of a sudden you score a goal, and they're like, oh my, like, you want it over and over, and it keeps you in a positive route compared to a kid that sits in his basement and all they do is have their parents bitching them all day. Am I making sense on that?
No, okay. It makes sense. Cool. And listen, I'm over exaggerating like how much my wife doesn't know, like whatever. She's learning it, man. She's getting into it too. This is like becoming like our life now, Cam. Like my little guy's starting hockey now, and you just basically like your kids' activities all of a sudden become like your day-to-day schedule. It's like, okay, what do I have to do today? Well, it's like, okay, what do they have to do? So we're in that stage of our life right now. But little Ty, listen, he's starting hockey this year, right? He was playing last year, whatever. They just hooked him up. They gave him like a little hoodie, had his last name on it, his number on it. You know what I'm saying, man?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden we're starting at the beginning. These kids get so much gear now at a younger age. It used to be like, okay, you have to like wait until you're a little bit older and like maybe you get hooked up with something like that. But they all have all this stuff nowadays. But you're just starting this whole process, man, and it's just like the journey is just beginning. And to see your kid like put that on, have his number on the back, have his name on the back, man, it was really just cool, like
okay, here's another thing. When you're in school, when you're a kid, just all you guys remember when you're in school, like for me, I wanted to be cool enough to hang out with the hot girls, man. I mean, that honestly, and I know there's more to it.
Were you?
Oh, fuck. And I didn't have money. My parents didn't have money. And all my rich buddies had like cool Tommy Hilfiger stuff. And I just couldn't get to that. We just couldn't get there. Right. So I had to like figure it just always was about like being cool. Like it just is for a lot of kids. But when you get something from your fucking team, like a fucking track suit that says AAA Vaca and Blues or something like what Ty just got, and you wear that motherfucker to school, and you walk in like, what's up? This isn't my mommy and daddy got this at Lululemon. No. I earned this shit. All you girls, what's up? Yeah, I'm the bad boy. Look at this badass. Even that little thing, that's so simplistic. That goes so far in your confidence and like, yeah, I earned this. No, my mommy and daddy didn't have a good week. Okay, in their construction business. No. I earned this, and I'm walking around like a big dick. And I know he's young, and I get that. Oh, a couple deer in my backyard. I know he's young, and I get it, but that in itself goes so damn far. And I know we're digging a lot into this, but I don't know. I'm just kind of in the mood to talk about that because I saw that video. I'm like, God, I just love it. So all you parents, man, I'm telling you, sports, I know it's a pain in the ass. I know the money's there, but fuck, it's gonna pay dividends if he's or she has it in their head. All these little things add up, man, and it helps them become fucking woman or a man or a fucking entrepreneur or something.
No, I think you're right about that. And that really is what it's all about, man. Well, I mean, you can't go through life without confidence. I mean, how many people have you seen has success that like have no confidence? They don't believe in themselves. Find me somebody.
It doesn't happen. But you can't install. There's ways to install confidence in your kid. You can't. They have to install confidence in themselves. You know, like my dad would pump my tires up. Whoo. But when I didn't deserve it, oh God, he just gave me that look. I'm like, help me, help. But then he'd be like, you're the toughest. And I'm like, oh, you're right, I am. You're right. You go out there and do whatever. And like, there's a balance to it, but you have to bring it on yourself. All you parents, man, your kid has to do something to instill their own confidence. You can only kiss their ass too much. You can't only bring them down too much. You got to balance it. There's always a balance, but fuck, they got to put their fucking work in though. Because they can't get that natural high that Chloe just got, and that fucking Ty's going to get when he's wheeling fucking girls with that jacket on, by the way, at the age of 5. But like, you get my drip. Like they have to put their part into it too, man. I know I'm getting deep, but it's middle of summer.
Hey, real quick though, Cam, before we move on, this dad on the other team, it was like 2 hours outside of town, so it was like a different group of parents, right? I mean, just like, you know, when I say different, I mean like they're just from a different world, some of these places. And this dad starts yelling at his kid on the sideline. The kid starts yelling at him, and then the coach from the other opposite sideline is screaming at the dad, telling the dad to shut up. Hey, parents, shut up. And like,
shut the fuck up is right. Shut the fuck up, you fucking weirdo. You're a fucking weirdo if you're fucking yelling at your kid like that at that young. How old is that? How 10. Old are they? Get the fuck out of here. Now, look, if you're playing AAA hockey at age 10, even if your kid's bullshit, fucking stop yelling at your fucking kid. Just shut the fuck up. Only encouragement. Only let's go. If you want to do that, fine. But it's embarrassing. You're making it about yourself. You're putting attention on your kid. Just let them fucking play. And if you want to yell at them, you do it afterwards. You do it afterwards away from people. Shut the fuck up.
Dude. They need to learn that too. I mean, it was just like a little too much, man. I mean, having this dad and then the coach going at it. It's kind of entertaining though. I kind of enjoy listening.
Well, yeah, it was good to talk about, Andy, but that fucks your kid up. Your kid's young. I'm psychotic. My dad's fucking hardcore. We never had that. Never had a fuck you man in the car. Oh, when he's looking at me if I can driving on the way home after I got booted out of the game or something, and he's looking at me in the rearview mirror, and I'm like, hi. No, like that's different. But during the game, he'd give me that look, just stare at me and get going. I'm like, oh God, okay, I got you. Or he'd give me a thumbs up, like you're doing good, keep going, like you're doing good. But that's it. That's it, and that's all I needed. That's all you need to do. All you fucking parents, man. I'm thank Christ that I don't have a kid. because I'd be in the mix all the fucking time, and I'd have to put my foot down on some of you fucks. But I don't do it, Andy. I just talk about it on the podcast, and they listen that way.
All right. On the flip side, dude, I mean, the storms we've had this year, by the way, this has been some of the craziest storms we've ever had here in the Midwest. Like I always say to people, like, let people know Midwest storms are no joke, and they really aren't.
We're in number 2 tornado alley, dude.
Oh, well, I don't get tornadoes here. You always act like you get tornadoes. I've never had a tornado where
you have.
No, I haven't.
Andy, yes, you have. There is a tornado that's happened in the poor part of Ladue. Fucking right. That's happened before. You just didn't see it because you're baking fucking wheatgrass or something. Look out the fucking window.
Hey, dude, there's this tree, not my historic tree. It's amazing that the historic tree doesn't even lose a leaf. Like nothing happens to it. It just like survives everything. It's incredible. I heard, by the way, that you can like plant your trees in like rice or something like that, and it doesn't move. Put like rice.
What are you in fucking Southeast Asia somewhere?
If you put rice in it, like in the soil, like the tree won't fall over. But this one tree did fall over, dude. It crushed Chloe's soccer net, and it's like sitting there. And I'm trying to get like the electric company to come over here and like cut this shit down because it's close to some electric wires, man. I can't get up there. I'm not doing it on my own.
No, you're not.
With the hacksaw.
No, you're not.
Okay, the chainsaw. I'm not doing it.
No.
So I need them to come over. But this is crazy, dude. The way that this wind, it's not lightning because you can tell how the tree snapped, right? There's no burn marks or whatever. It's wind. And it's amazing that it blew over this tree, dude. I got to send you a picture.
Why is that amazing? Why do you think that's amazing? It's not that fucking amazing. It's a 60-mile-an-hour headwind, dude.
It's a heavy wind.
It's a headwind.
It's a heavy
60-mile-an-hour headwind, meaning it's just the front of the storm where the headwind is, and it pushes through. And you got trees that have like the roots are all fucked up, and you got a million trees falling on each other. Yeah, you're gonna get that. Is that amazing that happens? That's called just fucking nature.
No,
that's what amazing. It is. Wind pushes shit down, Andy. It's not an anomaly that a fucking tree fell on Chloe's goal. Fixed a fucking goal for her so she could keep practicing.
It's probably ruined.
Damn.
It's probably ruined. I can't even. I tried to lift the tree up. I almost pulled my back out, Cam. I already have one injury. You can see here that I'm still wearing my compression sleeve because my elbow. People were asking me all about it. Joe Vitale, former Pittsburgh Penguin, he came up to me the other day, all concerned. And I said, this is what athletes wear. When
Joey's got fucking concussion problems from going toe-to-toe with Kevin Miller, and he's talking about your stupid fuck elbow. Dude, get that goddamn thing fucking drained and shut up about it.
I don't know if I can do that.
Jesus Christ. So
I don't know if I can have it drained.
You're wearing that in the house like you're like LeBron James or something. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I feel like, who's that guy from the Yankees? Judge? Dude, that shit kicker, man.
99?
99, dude. He just like crushes bombs. They played in the cornfield, dude, in the Field of Dreams.
That was really cool. Baseball did a good job on that, homie. You know who the biggest pimp out of that whole fucking thing was?
Kevin Costner.
A badass motherfucker.
Well, he's the original.
Young. He's no shit, but he does Yellowstone, and he's just a fucking cowboy, man. He's strut. This way he walks, like. But hey, Yankees, man, Aaron Judge, and you got that Giancarlo Stanton, who's like the handsomest guy in the world, 6'5", 300 schmil, and his name's I think Mike, and he changed it to Giancarlo. I'd do that too, just to get pussy, bro.
His name's Mike, and
I think his name's Mike Stanton, and he changed it to Giancarlo just to look like a pimp. Although he's already a pimp. Just call yourself fucking Mike. Get over.
You know what? I'm thinking about changing my name, Cam.
You should.
Yeah, I'm thinking about changing. No, I got a better one for you.
What, Rocky?
Something that'll just make me like really, really sexy, and just like I don't know, like me, like a Gian. I need like a Gian,
Giancarlo.
Giancarlo.
I'm Giancarlo now. Oh, hey, Mike. No, it's Giancarlo. Get it right. Like, what the fuck? Like, don't you get enough, broad? Like, you can do whatever you want. Like, you're in New York. You're making 300 schmil. Very handsome guy. But you need to top it off to have a perfect name. You think Tom Wilson's doing that? Toma. He's not calling himself Toma. Tom Wilson's like the most like average middle Missouri name ever. He doesn't fucking change it.
Tomas.
Tomas
Wilson.
Tomas, we'll see you now or something. Fuck Giancarlo.
Hey,
fucking Mike.
You remember that fight in the NBA? You know the Malice in the Palace.
Yeah.
Okay, so like you got to watch
Peace.
the Meta World Peace. You got to watch the Netflix special that's out about this. It'll change your entire opinion on this thing, Cam. I really believe that.
Oh, the fans are crazy.
This was all on the fans.
What's my opinion on it? Well, what's my opinion on it?
Well,
my opinion is like the players should have beat the fuck out of every one of those fans.
Really? Okay, so that's your take.
They're throwing shit on them, just like what Bobby Plager went through and all that stuff, and all those guys, man. No, fans came on the court, and they're like, "What? Like you're on our territory now?" Just like what Ty Domi did in Philly, Andy. And it keeps bringing part up. And Ty talked about that. He said he got sued for that by that motherfucker. Yeah. That guy that jumped over, and Ty's like, "I'll fucking smash your ass up."
In the penalty box. The guy reached over. And then Ty started squirting water on him, right? Then he grabbed his ass.
Ty was squirting water on some guys, and some guy jumped over, and it broke, and he fell down. And Ty's like, "What, motherfucker?" And he started catching him a couple times, and Ty got jammed up in that for a long. Remember, Ty talked about that.
Yeah. Well, if you go back in time, like the Malice in the Palace, everyone was criticizing the players, being like, "Hey, these guys are a bunch of thugs," and look how embarrassing this is for the NBA.
Well, they are kind of.
No, dude, the fans messed with the wrong crew. Yeah. They messed with the wrong team that day. And you know what? They had like all this like never seen before footage that the public has never seen before. And this was all on the fans. Now, you could make the argument players need to have some restraint. Don't go into the fans. Don't go into the stands and all that type of stuff. But you know what? You can only hold yourself back so much.
Yep.
Watching this, it almost allows you to kind of like, okay, yeah, I kind of understand why they did it.
Fucking right. That's what I just said. Like, you thought I was thinking the other way. No, dude, I would have fucking lost my mind. If somebody tries to come grab you in a penalty box, if you're in a penalty box, somebody falls down, like, no, I got to protect what do you have, a knife? I don't know. Who are you? Remember Razor? Remember Rob Ray? We got to get him on, by the way.
I know.
Piss pumped that cat. They came over to the bench. Remember the linesman or the referee? I think it was Bill McCurry. Remember when that guy jumped on and Bill McCurry skated all the way across the ice and hits him from behind? And he goes right into the boards. Like, that's your area. You come across that fucking territory, the glass on the in baseball. I'm surprised those guys in baseball don't shit stomp some of these guys that streak around a little bit. Some girl fucking threw a guy over the thing the other day. Some ball girl. That was really cool. She's actually really hot, by the way. But like if these guys come in your territory, man, like I don't know, I'm sticking up for myself.
But dude, the streaker, I don't think she made the tackle.
No, the guy tripped and fell, but she's good looking, so that's what we got to talk about.
Well, what are the chances of that happening?
Actually, how about we pump up the other girl, Andy, that caught that badass? She jumped up and caught
the scream like line drive right at her.
Do you see that?
Hell of a catch, man.
Let's pump her tires up.
But the girl also, I mean, she got down in like a good stance and whatever, and she led to him like tumbling over. I mean, because he had to like change his like his
trajectory.
His path of where he was going and whatever. But I mean, to see her like basically get down in like a tackling stance, and then all of a sudden she's like got Instagram pictures all over the place. Like, what are the chances of that happening?
Well, when you're good looking and you do something cool, that's what happens. That's why when you do shit cool, no one really cares about because you're not good looking. See, it's all about being beautiful, Andy. You haven't noticed that yet? That's why I wore that fucking golf shirt the other day.
Okay, so I've been doing this collagen, dude. I told you about that. How it makes your skin, makes your hair grow back too. Like my hair is my hair is so thick, but I think it's forcing. I'm getting like all this gray hair, dude. So
then dye it.
Do I do that?
Yes.
Is it okay to do it?
Oh, look, Andy, I got fucking hair things in my goddamn hair. Damn right. My front part of my hair is not that bad. I'm looking at myself. Looking at the thing right now. Oh, God, but look at that cul-de-sac. Oh, help me, Lord. Die the motherfucker. I don't want people bitching at me about your fucking gray hair. If you bitch about you losing hair, no, it's a tricky subject. Costs money, shit goes down, takes time. But your fucking gray hair, take that shit like the comb and go, whap, blah, 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 whap, blah, 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 and die the motherfucker.
Oh, you're talking like a do-it-yourself at home kit. No, I'm not doing that. No, I found this new girl, man. She's like
chick then, yeah.
her name's Kate. You should you won't forget that name. Kate is she like cuts like all the Blues players' hair and everything. Just like happens to someone like introduced me to her like on a text, whatever. So I'm going to go see her tomorrow, and I may go with a little coloring tomorrow. We'll see how this goes.
Hey, take your hat off.
I'm not embarrassed.
Oh, you're gray as a motherfucker.
What's happening?
You look like the dude from Detroit. What's his name? Cleary.
Drew Miller.
Drew Miller. Yeah. Dye it, Drew. You got great hair. And your hair's okay.
Remember Matt Martin was chirping him? And he was like, nice hair. Like, come on, Matty Martin. I like Matty Martin. We got to get him on one day. But he's got to come up with better chirps than that one.
Yeah, the hair thing. Well, Matty Martin's got great hair. When you got great hair, you could chirp other people, man. It's just that simple. It's just when you're jacked and somebody's not that jacked, you could chirp.
Some people have like it's like a pigment issue inside their like skin or their hair or whatever, like which forces them to have gray hair at a much younger age. So that's
Andy, that's the case with when you have hair loss too. I have a fucking bad gene from my fucking great grandfather that fucked me in my ass because I have horrible cul-de-sac. So like I could talk about that. Everybody has something different. But if you have gray hair, dye it. If you're losing your hair, it's a bigger process to get hair back. I don't feel sorry for anybody with gray hair. Dye the motherfucker.
Yeah.
Simple.
I may try it with Kate.
Huh?
With Kate.
Yeah. What?
Not your Kate.
I'm not worried about Kate with you. Don't worry.
Hey, what do you think of Joe Thornton? Like, I got
Florida. Why wouldn't you?
Hold on, because I'm a big fan of Jumbo. I like Jumbo. I met him up after a game one time. His brother's cool. I met up with his brother at the team hotel. We sat around. Everyone's having like drinks, and like Jumbo comes and has like the biggest bowl of ice cream you've ever seen in your life. I'm like, that's what you eat after games? He's like, I love ice cream. He's like a little kid. That guy, like Joe Thornton's like a little kid, man, and he wants to keep playing, and I can understand that. But like some guys, I don't like legendary players who just kind of like chase championships and all of a sudden bounce around on all these 1-year deals and end up playing with 15 different teams. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, when do you call it a day?
If I'm Joe, he just does what he wants. And he's a kid because when you play a sport for a living and that's all you do, like you do kiddie kind of shit where like your fun is ice cream after you eat your pregame meal and shit, or, now you look at it like, I was going to the gas station and get what the fuck I want. But then it's like, I could do this now because I'm allowed to, because my weight, so you just feel like a child, man. But he wants to keep, why would he? Now, if you got that kind of money and your kids are at home and they're growing up and they're actually playing sports, just like we talked about, at a time your wife's probably like, okay, I want you home. The kids are fucking have baseball games every night, and you're playing Washington, and then you got to go to New York just to make a million. What's he making? $1 million? Like that 750 is like at that point. I think that the wife should step in, unless he's trying to get a some sort of record. What's he chasing? Anything? Is he chasing anything?
I mean, he can maybe games played, but I love Jumbo, man. I hope he has success. I'd love to see him win a Stanley Cup. Like a lot of these guys who hang around, I want to see win, but I just don't want to see. I want this to kind of be it. Like either stay in Florida next year and beyond. I just don't want to see him just like kind of like chasing a Stanley Cup and playing with like a million different teams. It was okay to go to Toronto because he had spent such a long time between Boston and San Jose. And I'm like, okay, so he's going to go to Toronto, maybe help them win. But if you're not really a contributor when been a great player for a long time and you're just hanging on and you're not really contributing, I don't know, man. Sometimes I would just rather see the player just hanging up. Like I couldn't see like a guy like Keith Tkachuk, for example, wanting to go play for like 3 teams in 3 years just to try to go win a cup when you have kids and stuff like that.
Well, when you have kids, man, especially when they're dominant, like, the boys are. Again, it's like, and your wife, like, okay, enough's enough. I need you. I want to see my husband. I want to like sleep with my husband every single night, lay next to him. I want my husband to see my children every morning and not be in fucking, Vancouver to Ottawa. I don't know. It's just too much. Making $750 now after you made $60 million. I don't know. I'd be like, I'm fucking donezo. Not to mention you can make tons of money, retiring, doing whatever the fuck you want anyway, sitting at home doing a fucking podcast or going on doing a Zoom for Hockey Night in Canada and have a cool backdrop and make $1 million doing that. You're making more money probably after hockey than you are playing hockey right now.
Well, exactly. I mean, he's going to have so many options, man. He'll be able to do whatever he wants and be able to recover that $750 or $1 million or whatever. So I don't know.
Is it about the money? I mean, like, it's just about it's about him. He loves to play, and he probably doesn't want to go home and sit around. Like, he probably just wants to keep going as long as he can. I get that, but if he's not good enough to play, then don't pay for him.
Well, he's going to Florida, man. We'll see what Florida can do. I like Joel Quenneville and everybody they have down there. I'd like to see Florida, advance and go far in the playoffs. We'll see if they can make that happen.
Yeah, I don't know.
One of these days.
They just need a bigger fan base. They need. I don't know. Their fan base. They're just not relevant. I probably shouldn't say that because there's gonna be some people that are pissed, but it's just kind of like, let's go watch Florida. Let's go down from Boston and watch Florida. Let's go from New York and watch Florida play. They don't have that. I feel like Tampa does, but I feel like Florida. I don't know. They're like they come in from the East Coast, and that's their fan base, but they're not hardcore. So I don't know if I want a team to go all the way like that. That's just me being selfish.
Hey, I gotta say, give a shout out to Robin Leonard, man, because he really brought it with us, dude. And he spoke his mind. He gave honest opinions. Got a lot of reaction from people. Like, some people like his opinion, some people don't like his opinion. Like, listen, you can't have it both ways, man. I'm of the belief that we need more athletes, especially in the sport of hockey, because I think we have athletes in other sports who feel like they have that freedom to truly, give their opinion on different things, man. Like, they got a contract, they're good at what they do. Like, what's going to happen to them if they give their opinion? Or are they going to get cut? Are they going to
depends on how good they are,
get released? But you know what, man? I really respect people who give their own opinion, man, and they don't just I don't think he crossed the line or said anything crazy. He didn't say anything bad about his own team or his own management. I mean, he gave a shout out to Lou Lamoriello and Barry Trotz, said he has a lot of respect for them from his days in New York, man. And you know what? Some of the issues that he had in Buffalo, I don't even know if some of those people are still there that he's talking about with the medical staff and whatever, but it's timely when you consider everything that's going on right now with Jack Eichel and his medical issues. So it is what it is, man. But you know what? I like the fact that he came out and gave his opinion, and he said what he said. He said what's on his mind. I've got no issue with that at all.
Yeah, of course not. Why would you? But if I'm the owner of a team, I don't know if I want my guy doing that. I mean, just be honest with you. I'd just be like, don't be that loud, I guess. Wait till you're done, because it just causes drama. But he doesn't give a fuck. And I wish more guys were like that, because we're in a situation and a spot to where, we're like that. Because am I the way I am now? If I was working for Lou, probably not. I mean, no way in hell. But we're not. We own our shit, Andy. So we could be this loud. So if I'm paying a guy, I don't know if I'd want that, but I respect the shit out of him. But I don't like when people are like, "Oh, glad you guys got that boost from Robin Leonard." Well, we get a boost from every guest. Wayne Gretzky gave us a boost. Fucking Phil Esposito gave us a boost. Like, we get good guests on, and they give us boosts. That's why it's building up. That's what it is. So, he just was loud. He was very opinionated. Everybody brings a different kind of heat, man, and he brought his, and it worked. And he doesn't give a shit. Yeah. He's a good goalie.
No, I agree with you there. I mean, Mike Babcock gave us a boost. Brett Hull gave us a boost. Yeah, everybody gives you a boost. It's a different type of boost. Donnie Granado is going to give us a boost on this episode because, even in his words, man, he's asked questions that he's not normally used to being asked. And he had a type of conversation that he really hasn't had since he became head coach of an NHL team. And he's been waiting for years to get this opportunity. So we try to have real conversation, Cam, real discussion. I think people like that. And I think a lot of athletes, they like to have a real conversation too, because in reality, during the day-to-day grind during the season, they're not always in position where they can do that, But, sometimes these guys like to have a real conversation,
Well, then do it. Let's go. shit. That's why we want some of these other guys to come on that are retired. You know, some of these old school Russian cats when they defected and all that shit. That's where we want to get into some of that. Like, and there's a lot of guys that just want to let it out with us, man. And we're here for it, and we respect you. And if you don't want us anything on it, then we'll take it out. Like we don't need to get that one-liner. Just be yourself. We are. You know, I talk about shit. I have to worry about Andy. I text you every time we put a goddamn podcast. I'm like, oh fuck, what'd I say? Like, what is it? I'm like, no, you're good. You know, it just, I get the game, but if you want to let it out, man, when I go on all these podcasts, Andy, like I like to have guys that want to talk to me. I can handle it. I'm a big boy. And sometimes you need to set the record straight on shit.
Yeah, but I think what you said is right, though. I think sometimes when you still are a player and like technically like you're employed, not technically, but you are employed by a certain organization, I think there is a line where you truly can't cross. I'm not so sure he crossed it, but you know what? I will say this, though. If he's playing for Buffalo and they're having him like do what he said they had him do with like a boot on his foot that's like all torn up, it's swollen, high ankle sprain, and they're having him do like 300-pound like leg presses, dude, a few days later or a week later or something like that.
Who made that decision?
Like, maybe you got to get called out. Maybe you got to get called out for that.
That's weird, man. Like, I got fucking killed with Jersey, right? When I was injured and Vladimir Bure had to skate me every day. Mike Vasilani, who I love, fucking heart. A lot of guys didn't like him because he was loud, but I needed it. Like, I liked it. He was so hard and I liked it. But if I was fucked up like that, he'd never make me do anything that I was uncomfortable doing. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever in any team I've ever played for. No one, Kim, no, you need, wait, what? Like, no one's ever, that's so asinine. I don't understand it. But he threw pictures out, man. Like, he's not lying.
Well, there's two sides to every story. I don't know I don't know what he was told to do. I mean, I want to believe that even like the medical personnel in Buffalo, like they did go to med school. You know, they're not doing anything like that's crazy, like asking a player that's going to do something to risk further injury. You know what I'm saying? But
why would you make a person do a goalie, nonetheless, do leg squats when his ankle's fucked up? What does that get? What do you get? Do you get paid? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. Think about it. What does your trainer get out of that? Make your fucking starting goalie.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get anything out of it.
Yeah. And then you had the loud people on Twitter who all of a sudden like their names are mentioned and then they get all thin skinned and you know.
Oh God, I know. That's all good. Dude, we're not talk to us. Like what I get mentioned again, like we all get mentioned in different things and shit. And it's just like you're part of a big ass fucking story. Like your name's gonna get brought up, man. And you kind of started the story. I don't know what the fuck you're mad about, homie.
I know.
Damn.
Jesus. People are crazy. It's the dog days, man. We're ready for the season to start. We'll see what happens with Kaprizov and Tarasenko. Those are the only two players that I'm really interested to see what goes down.
Yeah, I agree.
I will say this about the Blues, though, man. I think another move is coming at some point in time. All you got to do is look at their cap space right now. They still have to sign Robert Thomas and whatever. So I still believe the Blues would like to add a defenseman. And we'll see what this roster looks like. We're starting to see more and more guys sign. Kevin Fiala signs a 1-year deal with Minnesota. That came out earlier today. UC Saros, the goaltender from Nashville, signs an extension. So things are going to pick back up here soon. And we'll see what happens with Tarasenko. We'll see what happens with Kaprizov. But I think we mentioned it last time. I mean, this idea that he's going back to Russia, I'll believe it when I see it. And I'll believe it when I see a $10 million plus offer on the table.
Yeah.
Like the highest paid players over there are making like $3 million. Honestly. That's why all the best players come here and play.
Yeah. So Kipper's going to make $10 million. Everybody else is going to make $25,000.
Yeah.
They're going to have a good team.
And they have a hard cap nowadays.
They're going to have a really good team.
Oh, well, this is Russia. They'll pay them under the table. Oh, you don't think the other teams would have a problem with that? Please. There'd be some other teams over there that would have an issue with that. So all I'm saying to the people, if they're signing guys to $10+ million a year, and then the Russians aren't coming over here to play, like they'll just stay home.
Then the NHL is a problem.
And Kaprizov, let me just tell you this right now. If they offered you a deal and it's on the table for $10+ million, like take that shit.
No shit. And look, Kaprizov, you ain't that good yet to be in like their parliament over there, right? Like, you got to do a lot more to be in like the fucking bro code over there. Like, you think you're gonna go over there and have a better time than you are in Minnesota? Minnesota's cold. What are you gonna do in Russia? How are those flights? Yeah. How's the food? How's it? Are you kidding? Is it better over there than in the United States in Minnesota? I don't think that you want to go back. Like, let's be honest. You get nice fucking schools here. Are you kidding me? Who are you kidding, dude?
Yeah, but here's the deal, dude. This is all being driven by the agent.
Oh, no doubt. No, but you still like,
which is why I've always said, Cam, it's like Alexander Ovechkin, these guys, man, they go do their own deals. If I was a player negotiating that level of a contract, I think there's a lot of value to having an agent, man. I think agents do a great job. There's a lot of good ones out there. There's a lot of agents who have been around for a long time who think they're good. They're not that good. There's a lot of guys who are new or who have been around for a long time who do a hell of a job. Sometimes the best agents are the ones that you never hear from, man. They've been around for a long time. They treat their clients with respect. They're there for them all the time. They get them great deals. They take care of the client, take care of their family. They're respectful. NHL GMs love dealing with these specific agents because there's no bullshit. They just they get on the phone. They know where the range is, whatever. They get deals done. And there's no drama attached to getting the deals done.
Don't bring drama into my life for an extra whatever.
I know.
It's just not worth it. You're going to make your money, dude.
I said to an agent recently, I said, well, you guys got that deal done soon. He goes, what am I going to do? Drag this out for another 3 weeks, another 3 months to get another $100,000?
I know. It's like, just fucking take the money. And again, like going to Russia, I know it's some other land and I know but dude, there's no comparison. There's just no comparison. The NHL is 50 times nicer in every aspect of life compared to Russia.
All I'm saying is
50 times.
This agent who represents Tarasenko, he also represents Kaprizov. Like, he's thrown more stuff out this offseason without attaching his name to it. Whether it's the Blues medical staff, all those issues with the Blues medical staff.
It hits home a little bit. I don't like that.
Okay, and now the drama with Kaprizov and whatever, like throwing it out there to a journalist or whatever, saying that he's got an offer for $10+ million. You think that's gonna get a guy like Billy G shaking in his boots?
Billy G's like, don't. I fucking dealt with the big boy back in the day. Don't fuck with me. I've been in this fucking game. And when you throw again, and we love Vladdy, but the medical staff, and it probably wasn't even Vladdy. It's like, we all know those guys, Andy. And it's like, they fucking took care of me. Like, literally took care of me and anything I needed. And I don't know. And I'm like, what they do? I don't know. And there's different doctors. Maybe I didn't know. But as far as like when you put the medical team in something like, it's like those guys fucking, if I needed anything, I don't know, man. It kind of hits home a little bit. And so this agent, man, I don't know. It's like, sit the fuck back. Your boy's going to score some goals. You're going to make some money. You don't need to have a high drama fest, man. It's going to hurt you more than it's going to help you in the end, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, it's a little too much, man. It's
too much, Andy.
Too much. So we got Tarasenko in the news. You got Kaprizov in the news, all this stuff. Like, none of it comes from the player on either side. And listen, if it's not coming from the player, man, it's probably coming from the agent. I think it's safe to assume that. Same agent throwing the same BS out there with two different players, man. We're starting to catch on.
You ain't fooling us, baby.
We weren't born yesterday. All right. Donnie Granado on this edition, man, comes from a badass hockey family, too. Growing up in Chicago, his sister, arguably the greatest American-born
she's awesome.
female hockey player ever.
Name, too.
Cami Granado.
Yeah, girl.
Yeah, she's all, doing her thing, working with the Seattle Kraken. Now, Tony Granado, loved by just about everybody he's been around, man. As a player, longtime player in the league, longtime coach. Now he's coaching at the University of Wisconsin. I know a bunch of kids who have gone through Wisconsin, played for him, man. They absolutely love Tony Granado. So I'm a big fan of the Granado family there. Like Donnie Granado, for people who don't know, because we didn't get into it a little bit, but like this guy's overcome a lot of serious adversity. He had cancer back in his day when he was an assistant coach or a head coach in the American League. Coaching with the Blues organization. Like he overcame that. And then he had like a serious medical scare a couple of years ago, Cam, where, I mean, it got really, really dark at one point in time. And he's been able to come back and make a full recovery. He is a hockey lifer, super intelligent, and, probably deserved a head coaching job earlier than when he got it. And I truly believe he's going to help establish and change the culture that we've seen that everyone's been laughing at and criticizing over there in Buffalo. I think if there's one guy who can truly come in and do it, there's a lot of guys who probably could. But he's part of that list of coaches who I think can, man. I think players like playing for Donnie.
Well, here's the thing, Andy. We I've been a sponge, and you've been interviewing hardcore cats for so long, and I kind of just got into it past couple of years of you. Even on the radio show, I don't interview people, but I know how to not. Is it judge? Is judge the word? But I could just kind of like listen to when people talk, and we do these interviews, and especially the coaches, to where I just feel a rhythm with them, right? Like not just because they're a good interview, but just I feel like a connection as far as like I could walk in that damn room and sit him down and talk to him, even as a fourth line guy, and he'd be like, Cam, this is why he. And I'm like, oh, I just had that feel with him. I know it sounds kind of bizarre, but I did. Like he just seems like he's an approachable guy. He's fair. I bet you his fucking practices are hardcore, which I absolutely love. Keep it going, energy up. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. And at the end, you break off and you do your own shit. I feel like he just feels like a guy you want to listen to. And I know I'm being very simplistic when it comes to this, but that's how you judge coaches. I'm like, we're talking to him, Andy. He's like, call both of us by our first name. Just little things. And he's like, no, Cam, I think this, Bo. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know. He seems like a good guy. I think he's going to help a lot. He's got a big task in front of him, but he just seems like the right dude for the right job, man. And again, we get a lot of guys on, Andy, and I think the boys are really going to like him.
You know what I think helps define what a good coach is, especially at the NHL level? And I'm not saying this is the end-all, be-all, but I'm saying all good coaches, for the most part, should be able to do this, and most of them probably can. And that's develop young players, man. If you're a head coach and you're with an organization for a certain number of years, and you show the ability to develop young players where young kids truly get better, and you get the most out of young kids, right off the bat, Cam, that tells me you're a good coach, man.
Yeah,
right away.
I know.
Right away. I think that's one area that Donnie's going to be able to do. You go back to his time coaching college and then coaching with the U.S. program, where he had all those great players with Austin Matthews.
Yeah.
And obviously he had, the Charlie McAvoy, Matthew Tkachuk, Clayton Keller. I can go on and on and on. All these guys that he had. That 97 group was ridiculous.
Oh,
okay?
God.
And he had all those guys. And look at all those players. How many players not just made it to the league? Because a lot of players obviously get drafted and find their way to the NHL who play at the U.S. program. But how many of them truly, once they get there, have the ability to have success right off the bat, right? And then you see when he took over last year, guys like Tage Thompson and some of these other players all of a sudden start having more confidence. They have more belief in themselves. They start scoring, producing, playing at the level they're expected to play at. There's something to be said for coaching, man. Those who can get the most out of young players, and Donnie Granado, I think, is one guy who can do that.
It's a balance, Andy. Just like being a daddy, you don't yell at your kid that much. You don't lay off of him that much. It's a balance in everything, and how you present that balance is on you. And I always bring my dad into shit because he had it, and fuck would he be hard. But it's again. Like, I like coaches. I told you there's some coaches I walk by and they didn't even say hi to me. I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, I just need that. Just wink at me. Something. Little things that just go so far. Or like take me aside when I didn't play for 2 games and be like, come here. Look, here on the wall. Just try your stick like this. Kick it up like this. Here. Rim some around. Boom. And I'm like, oh, fucking right. And whether I learn something, either I'm doing that drill or not, but for you to come over just fucking 15 seconds. And you say that, I'm like, oh, okay. Like, God, maybe I went out there and scored next game. Now I got the confidence to do this. And now all of a sudden, I'm a good fourth line fucking player that you want in the lineup all the damn time just because a little thing happened because you just did the right thing with the balance that you have to implement with some of these kids.
Yeah.
It's weird, Andy. It really is.
I'll tell you this. A lot of these coaches, man, like, I never find it overly impressive. Like, it's easy to be a dick to a young player.
Oh, God, yeah.
And to kiss a veteran player's ass, okay? And I see a lot of these guys come through the league or whatever, just like anybody else does. And I see it, man. Like, when you can tell the body language of some of these young kids. You see which players, when they're struggling, who drops out of the top 6, who comes out of the lineup. Which players who struggle never get moved around in the line. Listen, I see that.
Yep.
And I've seen coaches, and I think we all have, Cam, and you certainly have, obviously, being a player, man. You know which coaches, did they just kiss the veterans' ass and they treat the young guys like shit? to me, when you're talking like coach speak, that's the definition of a phony. Most veteran players, they can tell who the phonies are and who the real guys are right away.
God,
and that's a big major sign. The ones who just want to kiss the veteran player's ass, play nicey nice with the veterans, but then treat the young guys like shit, dude.
It's easy to do. That's an easy way out. And it usually never works. Because why? Like that initial confidence that you need when you're 20, 21, 22, 23 years old, that's what's going to take you to find that game. And all of a sudden you have a good game because your confidence is there. And now you're like, oh, I know how to do this now. I'm telling you, man. And you'll see when your kids grow up, like that one fucking game where he gets that little pep talk, or you just did the right thing, or you worked on the right thing, and all of a sudden it comes through and you kick it off the wall and you make a little sauce pass, and all of a sudden you hit a guy or whatever. And all of a sudden, like, now, I get, okay. This is my jam. Hit that motherfucker, get it off the wall, take the hit, fucking kick it to the middle, blah, 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 blah. Whatever it is, that just initial little connection with your coach, with your dad, with whatever. Man, it goes a long way, guys. I'm telling all y'all that, all you guys, you have to have a balance on how you interact with your kid, with your if you're a coach, with your player. Andy, you're a coach too, you know. I can't see you yelling at cats, but I don't know. I gotta watch you coach firsthand. I really haven't seen it yet, but I can see that where you get the balance, man. Where you take it, come here, try this real quick. Put the fucking stick like this and do this. And there it is. Even that, and you kick them, you fucking take your stick and you smack them on their shin pad. Like, good job, buddy. Smack them on whatever the fuck it is. Like, you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know.
There's a time and place for hard coaching, man. But rarely are you going to get the most out of a player when you make them feel like shit. Okay,
no, dude. Especially now, these kids
and when they see the same player make the same mistake, but you yell at them and you don't yell at the other player. Like, come on now. Don't kiss ass. You have to find that way. But when the player's really good, you give them a little bit of leeway. Like, again, the balance. That's where it comes in. Yeah,
and you need the kids on the team. No, it's the fucking leader of the team. He scores every night and he busts his ass. Like, I'm going to give him a little leeway on this one because look what he does. So, like, that makes sense too. But you can't overdo anything, man. So, look, Donnie's going to be awesome. He seems like a great guy. We'll see what happens. He's got a tough task ahead of him, but it's going to be interesting nonetheless to see how the outcome comes out.
Let's get to the interview here. Donnie Granado on this edition of the Cam and Strick podcast. Hey, brought to you by CarShield. 800-857-2481. Give them a call today. Mention that promo code CAM. You'll save 10%. I know it's embarrassing. Honestly, it's like really embarrassing, but it's going to save you money. So that's why I tell you each and every week. Mention the promo code CAM. You'll save 10%. You never know when something's going to go down, when you're going to be looking at thousands and thousands of dollars in repairs, but you won't be when you're when you got what you need from CarShield and CarShield.com. Again, 800-857-2481. You can pick out your own mechanic. They hook you up with a rental car. This is so easy. Sounds too good to be true, but the reality is it is what we say it is with CarShield and CarShield.com. Great hockey supporters too, man. They love the game. So support our friends over at CarShield and CarShield.com. Same with Bellman and Bellman.com. Listen, Bellman Automotive, man, BEHLMANN.com. You got a car sitting in the garage, older, you want to upgrade, you don't know what to do with your car, man. They will buy it from you today. So check that out. Out there in Troy, Missouri, the Cadillac, the Buick, the GMC. They got the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram on the other side of the street, man. They got cars for everyone. Yeah, just choose what you want, Cam. I mean, whatever you need. You want the convertible, you want the truck, you want the shit kicker, whatever you need.
Yeah, I want that fucking badass fucking diesel. I don't know. They got those that GMC Denali, 3/4 ton, I believe. They'll haul a fat ass boat. They'll haul a fat ass trailer. Your side by side, your fucking RV that you want to take up to the Grand Tetons. That motherfucker will take. You could sleep in the damn thing, pack a cooler, have a badass camper. Or a shell on the back of that thing so you can put a bunch of shit in there. I like a good old truck, Andy. You know that, man. Lasts forever. Feel safe in the fucking thing. Drive your kids around, Andy, and feel safe. Get a truck. Good God. I have to fucking spell this out for you.
Well, you can get everything you need over there at Bellman. Plus, they've got the best customer service anywhere. So, again, Bellman.com. Check that out. BEHLMANN.com. See our boy Danny Bellman today.
Yeah, dude, he's awesome. Love you, Danny.
Say what's up to Dale, too.
Dale, what up,
making
baby?
Things happen over there. So Bellman.com. Daredevil hockey, Cam. You want to protect your kid, protect yourself. If you're a men's league player, man, I don't care what level you play at. You better be protected. Did you know that skate lacerations, the number one cause of emergency room visits when it comes to youth hockey, man? I mean, listen, I don't know what else needs to be said. Protect yourself from being cut by a skate. Mention the promo code Cam and Strick. All caps, you're going to save 25%, Cam.
Yeah, you know what? When you get cut like that at a young age, it turns you off on the sport too. You know, it turns your family off, mom. You get cut like that, you bleed all over the goddamn. It's just preventable. Like just get this stuff. It doesn't weigh anything. You don't notice it. The kids don't notice it, but it certainly saves you from that kid that steps on your fucking wrist because he's like, clank. And you're like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden the kid doesn't want to play hockey anymore. Your family's going crazy. Just get this fucking shit. It's easy. It doesn't weigh anything. And they get used to it. The kids will get used to using it and wearing it underneath their equipment. And you feel a lot safer, Andy. Like Ty's doing it for sure. You see those kids like stepping on each other. Like,
yeah, so hook yourself up, get that Daredevil hockey and get it today. Carlo Koliakovo, our boy up there in Toronto, making stuff happen with Daredevil hockey, the whole crew up there. And we appreciate everybody who supports our sponsors. Check out camandstrick.com. By the way, you miss any previous episode, you can listen to it there. We got some good ones too. You can check those out. Check out our merchandise. If you want to become a part of our team, Cam, tell them how they can do that, baby.
Well, shit, get a hold of us. And you're talking to us. You want to jump on board and grow your company. And you look, of all the other companies that you're going to try, you're going to have to market. If you have a company, you have a business, and you want to pump it up, you're going to have to market one way or the other. But at least you're dealing with us. You're not dealing with some kid that you have to go through 3 different people to get a hold of us. They're negotiating for you. No, you talk to Andy and I. We'll do a Zoom with you. We'll help you. We'll use our social media for you. We'll go out of our way to pump up whatever you need. But it has to, it costs money to keep this damn thing going. It really, really does. This is Andy and I's job. It's not just like a hobby of ours. So we need the help for sure. So if you want to team up with us, Andy, it's pretty easy to do. We control everything. You're talking to us, baby. It's a lot different than most companies I'm sure you deal with.
That's right. Yeah. So check that out and just hit us up and get in touch with us, and we can surely make that happen, man. So again, camandstrick.com. We thank Michael Dane. If you're looking to build up your website, you need to improve your website. His information is on the website as well. The Black River Digital people who are making stuff happen for everything they're doing. And of course, Brody Campbell, who runs our social media, man. We got to give a shout out to the people who make things happen behind the scenes here on the Cam and Strick podcast. All right, let's get to Donnie Granado, head coach of the Buffalo Sabres. We've had a bunch of head coaches on with us here on the Cam and Strick pod, man. We enjoyed this one. Hope you do too. Enjoy episode number 147 here on the Cam and Strick podcast.
Yeah.
Hello,
Donnie.
Hey.
What's going on,
How
man?
are you?
What are you doing? You
busy?
diagramming plans in the
plays in the
napkin or what?
Yeah, you are.
I was walking around shopping right now. So.
Oh, for what?
No.
Clothes for the wife?
No. I was looking at furniture. So.
Are you going to live in Buffalo full time? Like, how are you going to handle that? Like, are you like moving there basically?
How am I going to handle that? It's a freaking great place to be.
There.
It is.
Thank
Nothing
you.
wrong with it.
No,
Everybody
right.
that's not in Buffalo says the same shit you say right there. So.
Hey, what I tell you, I'm from Buffalo, Williamsville. You know that. So I'm the one that's always pumping it up.
Yeah, so Williamsville's a nice spot.
Well, no, so I didn't know if you're like moving there. Like,
Well, what do you
like
think he's
some
gonna do,
coaches,
Andy?
they just bounce out of town the day after the season ends.
No.
Yeah.
You're full-fledged, man. And it's cheap.
No, I like it there.
It's
So.
pretty cheap, too, and you can find some good spots. And are you recognized already? Like, everybody's a hockey fan out there, man. Like, do people recognize you already? I mean, it's kind of a bubble.
I take advantage of the face mask thing right now. So
Yeah. Well, there you go. We all take it. Cam takes advantage of that too.
Yeah, I don't
for
like
a
getting
different
bothered.
reason. What are you doing? Like, how has life changed for Donnie Granado ever since you became head coach?
good question. Hasn't changed for me a whole lot because I still do the same things, Andy. I hate to keep it boring, but yeah. And we haven't played. I mean, we haven't played any games no fans this year. That was actually a bummer, but there were some positives to it to keep a tighter focus and easier to concentrate on certain things. So this coming season will be a little different, a lot different. I hope. I think we all hope that. So who knows? Things will change, I'm sure, with that.
How's the COVID protocol up there? Everybody's got to wear a mask. Like, are there going to be fans in the stands? Like, what's everything? How's everything looking throughout the year right now? Are things going to change?
Yeah, it's obviously we all know it's state to state, community to community.
Mm-hmm.
The way things point, we follow kind of the Buffalo Bills. It's nice to have the same ownership because you almost get an advance notice on how things are going to be. And in advance on how to set protocols and to operate. So, I felt last year we probably had a head start on that as far as just the protocols because, we mirrored what the Bills did. And hopefully the Bills it sounds like they're going to have, fans. So obviously we all hope that with the NHL. And boy, it would be exciting when that happens again.
Well, the fans get crazy.
Your stupid
Donnie.
ass phone, Andy. Good God, turn that guy.
I just turned it off.
There's got to be a fine for that, Andy.
Oh, I'll get them. Don't worry. Trust me.
And the fans get crazy, man. They'll love you. They obviously love their hockey too, just like they do the Bills. Hey, but I'm curious. You've been waiting a long time for this, Donnie. Like, it finally comes, and they offer you the job. Like, walk us through that moment. Where were you? What was that like for you? Was that emotional for you? Were you expecting it? Like, tell us about it.
Yeah, probably the first game was a bit emotional, from what I do remember. But after you get into it, everything felt very normal. I mean, I had felt for the last 10 years or so I was ready to be a head coach in the NHL. I could have got a job 15 years ago, that, or even maybe before that when I was an American League head coach. At the time, my first year in the American League as a head coach was Mike Babcock's first year in the league. In our division was Bruce Boudreau, Claude Julien, Mark Sullivan, on and on. And I'm watching all of these guys go up to the NHL over the course of years, and they're all damn good coaches. They were great coaches then, and they're still good coaches. So I knew I was in that category. Obviously, our teams in Worcester did very well against those teams. But I never felt that I needed to rush into it. And then, maybe the last 7 to 10 years, I felt, okay, now I know I'm ready. I might not have been ready 10, 15, 20 years ago when all those guys were getting it, but now I know it. So that said, it felt very natural. I felt very prepared for it when I took over the team. And it just felt very routine. It felt like a normal day of coaching, although now you're in the NHL. And, again, I think the fact that we didn't have 20,000 people in the building might have helped in me in that regard to stay even in the moment easier, I guess. So we'll see moving forward, but so far so good as far as feeling very comfortable with it.
Yeah, you've grinded it. Even when you played in the Coast and American League, and of course you coached in the American League. And look, man, it's a grind. You're on the bus every damn day. You're eating at sometimes, gas stations to whatever. And after a while, where you're like, okay, like, yeah, I love hockey and I love the players and all that shit, but I'm sitting in the front of the bus and I got 7 more hours to go. And then we got another trip on a Sunday. Were you also like sitting back like, damn, I don't know if I want this, but were you craving to get that call up, man, just like any other hockey player would playing in the minors?
Yeah. You know what, Cam, you've ridden those buses plenty and you know exactly what you're saying there. Those you do get, I guess, a little bit frustrated, but the only thing I kept reminding myself was just keep getting better. So when I do get my chance, I used all that time constructively to keep getting better as a coach. And I really feel that. So I never allowed myself to get frustrated. I enjoyed every team I coached and I'm grateful for having all those extra years maybe of working with young kids and being around young kids and, different coaches and coaching staffs and trainers and even bus drivers. It's fun. You could develop, when you're a head coach, you can kind of set a tone, develop the camaraderie, the mood, create the culture much easier. And I was able to do that and love doing all of that. So that was a blast for me. But I can tell you the speaker system on a bus, yeah, I'm happy I don't have to listen to the speaker system on a bus or watch Dumb and Dumber again, because I'm probably somewhere in the 30 to 40 times I've watched that thing, or listened to it, I should say. And to your point as well, I believe the first time I saw you play was in that small youth hockey rink in an American League exhibition game. I was coaching Worcester, and I think you were playing with New Jersey at the time in a preseason American League game, if I'm not mistaken. It's some youth hockey rink. Do you remember? Do you recall any of that?
Cam doesn't know what day of the week it is. Can't remember what he had for lunch yesterday.
Did I
Donnie.
fight Kinger in that situation, DJ King? And we went like 8 minutes. Yeah, that helped me. That helped my status with Lou, by the way. Trust me.
That was probably just one of your fights that day, but yeah, I remember that well. Yeah.
Isn't that funny how that works?
It's a long time ago.
Somebody, when you're young like that and you get into a scrap and all your jersey comes off and you go toe to toe and the boys are going crazy and you look up at your GM and he's got that smile on his face, which he doesn't want to show you, but he's got that smile and you're like, yeah, I did my shit. Okay. I love it, man.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. Sometimes you don't want, and then sometimes you do want to show the guy you're smiling, but you hide it quick.
No doubt.
Hey, but Donnie, listen, I know a lot of assistants that have been like real good assistant coaches in the NHL, and they've been passed over time after time again.
Yep.
I can't imagine like how frustrating it gets, but did you honestly think you were going to get a chance, or had you just like succumbed to the idea that maybe you're just going to be a lifelong assistant coach? That's as far as it's going to get for you. Like, were you always like, was your mentality always to become a head coach? And did you truly think that chance was going to happen for you?
I did. I knew it was going to happen. I really say that. I felt that. Because even when I went back, I got a call from Joel Quenneville, 4 seasons ago. And I left the national team program. I loved every bit of it. I had some incredible players like Brady and Matthew Tkachuk and Luke Cunnin. Went 1 year at Wisconsin to help my brother out, who was leaving the NHL after almost 30 years to figure out the NCAA level. So I said, I'll go there to help you out because I've got to transition out of the national team program anyway. I want to get back to the NHL. So a year into my tenure at Wisconsin helping Tony out, Joel Quenneville called in the offseason. And right then I felt, if I could get another couple of years with Joel as his assistant on my resume to help build that, and who wouldn't want to work with Joel Quenneville, period, or the Chicago Blackhawks. It was just a win-win-win in every area. But I felt that would help me with my head coaching background and, developing players at the national team or being part of that. I thought this is going to be the final piece for me. And I thought if I had spent a couple years in Buffalo to follow Ralph, just to get to join Ralph Kruger, just to get more acclimated to the current NHL, which was dramatically different than when I left the St. Louis Blues in 2006. Totally different league, really, than in 2006. I felt that I would put myself in a better position to be prepared for an NHL head coaching job. And, somebody gives you the opportunity, even Cam as a player, you can do everything right, but somebody still has to give you an opportunity. So,
Right.
that can be frustrating, as we've spoken of. But again, I felt that I developed enough contacts and enough players that eventually I was going to get my chance. And it happened to be this year, and I'm very grateful for that to Kevin Adams and obviously the Pagulas and the Sabres and the players I coached were amazing. From Stanley Reinhardt to Rasmus Ristolainen, 2 guys we traded, and Rick Stahl was another one that we ended up trading. But those guys were incredible help to me, and they'll be friends for forever now.
Okay, but listen, so here's my question before then. And then we're going to move on here, Donnie, to other parts of your career. But I know you got the head coaching job last year after Ralph got fired, but that was like an interim situation. And there was a lot of thought even heading into this offseason, who was going to be Buffalo's next head coach, who they going to bring in, all that. So did you have to interview? Like, how did you sell yourself? I want to know, like, how emotional it was for you when you got the permanent job and they took the interim tag off of you, and calling your wife and calling your brothers and, like, letting them know, like, how was that moment for you?
Yeah, that was interesting because there was about a 6-week lag in between the end of the season and when they finally had decided, or offered me the job, I should say, permanently. And for about 5 of that 6 weeks, I was not involved in any process whatsoever. I mean, I took a break. I came back to Chicago for a couple of weeks. And then didn't contact and follow up with Kevin. Maybe we had a text or two in between that time, but nothing to do with business really. And then when I got back into Buffalo, we sat down and went through an interview process. It was short with Kevin. It was much longer spending time with Terry and Kim Pagula, and then another time with the management staff before I was offered the position. It really honestly was not nerve-wracking. I felt that, the opportunity to coach half a season of 28 games is what it was, in the shortened season. I felt that had really helped establish me that, I was competent enough to coach at this level. So I figured the hardest thing for me, Andy, over the last 10 years was even getting interviews. But so having had the opportunity to do that, coach those games, it was almost an automatic that I would at least get interviewed for other head coaching jobs in the future.
For sure.
And that was everything in the world because we talked about if nobody gives you an opportunity, it doesn't matter how good you are. Somebody has to give you an opportunity. And I felt for years, in the last few years, I couldn't even get an interview because people said, well, you don't have any experience. And so at least now I knew 100% I would get interviewed. And I've always done fine in interviews. I have no problem with it because I've had so much experience doing it as far as coaching. I mean, in crisis management, running practices, developing players, implementing systems, all the things that go into what we do as head coaches. That's where my experience has lied. But if you don't get to talk about it in an interview, you're not going to get hired. And that was that I felt was the most frustrating thing.
The Cam and Strick podcast is brought to you by CarShield. Nothing more frustrating, Cam, than when that engine light comes on and right off the bat, you're going to have to spend thousands of dollars to repair your vehicle. Call 800-857-2481. Mention the promo code CAM or visit carshield.com and use the code CAM to save 10%. Yeah. That's carshield.com. A deductible may apply. Save yourself money. Sign up and get your coverage now with carshield.com. Now back to the interview. All right, what about Terry and Kim Pagula? You mentioned you sat down, you interviewed with them. Listen, everyone has a their opinion on ownership and whatever. Buffalo obviously hasn't won in a long time. You guys have had some high picks and whatever. But what should people know about Terry Pagula? What was that conversation like? And did you feel like you had to sell yourself, or did you feel like they already knew that you could potentially be the guy before you came and met with them, and they kind of had an idea of, what you had done the previous year and how you had already impacted the roster?
Well, I didn't think about it a whole lot going into the interview. I just asked them straight out what they may be looking for, how they felt, what they think, so I could answer the right questions, address their concerns. And they had plenty of questions, which were great. It just led to, it was about 4 hours of conversation. It just kept flowing, one topic into the next. So it was again, you can ask me pretty much any question about hockey, and I've either experienced it or very comfortable with, giving you kind of a feel of how you might attack or address something. And this was no different. There was a lot that we could use on the table from the season. Obviously, we had the second half. We had lots of players become much more productive and look much better. So those were easy conversations to have. And it wasn't just, the media has spoken much about the younger players, or Dahlin or Middlestead or Thompson, who really, really did well. But Stanley Reinhardt set a career high in goals, and he did it in only 56 games this year. And one thing that we did with him right away when I took over is I shifted him from wing to center, and he flourished there. He was outstanding there. Okposo is an older player. He got injured, but I think he had 9 points in 13 games before he got injured. So we had a lot of success all the way through the lineup. So it was really easy for us to have a conversation and get excited about what lies ahead really for us.
So so it's so funny. Like, I haven't done many interviews with businesses because, you play 10 years in a show, you kind of get hired, and if you screw up, they're going to fire you. But I remember going to Toronto and getting interviewed by all kinds of teams, and they'd ask me all kinds of goofy questions, and you're like kind of confused. But like, what kind of questions are they asking you when they're hiring? Was it normal stuff? Were they digging into you? Were you confused at times? Anything bizarre?
Yeah, with Kim and Terry Pegula, it was very straightforward and simple. They were definitely not trying to trick anybody. They just wanted to know who I was as a person and what my approach and philosophy was as a coach, and as far as team building and leadership, and kind of the essential things. Not a lot of X's and O's. The X's and O's, I probably went over that as necessary with Kevin Adams or the hockey management staff. But with Kim and Terry, it was very relevant questions, I felt, with how I am as a person and into and onto the philosophy of what that team might mean to the community of Buffalo, developing and winning with respect to people, less hockey. These are owners that have seen the Buffalo Bills do a turnaround within their time of owning them. So, they've been around a pretty good coaching and great coaching and management team with the Bills the last few years, and they did those hires recently. So I know that was mentioned a time or two within the context of what we were discussing, and I was happy when I left there. I felt very comfortable. I felt, a lot of times you leave an interview and you think, geez, I wish I would have maybe said this or spoke on that. And, it's part of, I think, the nerves that you might go through. But this time around, I didn't have any of that. I didn't feel that I needed to mention anything more. It was just a nice conversation with people that you work for. And I came out of there actually feeling, geez, this is great to get to know the people that you work for even better. And, if I do get this job, it'll be a lot nicer coming to work knowing a little bit more or a lot more about those people. And that is the case.
All right. A year or two ago, you overcame a sickness, which was pretty serious. And I want to ask you about that, but I want to first talk to you about how you overcame cancer several years ago, Donnie. And people may not even know that about you. I think it was during your time when you were with Worcester, right before you came to St. Louis. I could be wrong about that, but dealing with cancer, overcoming cancer, how did that change your life, Donnie?
Well, it changed it dramatically, Andy. And again, I don't get, some of the questions you asked at the outset. I just don't get too worked up with stuff. I mean, I instead of chasing a job, I figured I'd make myself a better coach. Mm-hmm. Things like that. You just change your mentality. Enjoy each day. And get in the moment. Be in the moment. Some people think too far ahead, or they dwell on the past. And I just, I guess you learn you don't do either of those because you're going to be distracting yourself from today and what you can do today or what you can enjoy today. And so, but that's not. It's much easier for me to say that than to do that. I don't proclaim to be able to do that to some magnificent level. I struggle with what everybody else does on a daily basis too in that regard. But that did, going through those things when you sit in a hospital bed and you wonder sometimes, in some moments you wondered of your own existence. I guess you gain a perspective. One thing I really gained is, if you remember Larry Plow, talking with him, and he said, take your time getting back to hockey. And I said, Larry, hockey's life. I have to get back as soon as I can. That's what this whole thing is about. I need to, you sit in a bed, you're like, just let me go on the ice. Let me, get around a team. And so as soon as you feel good and strong, it's almost like other people are like, well, don't you want to relax? Well, no, I want to live.
Yeah, you just moved the mountain.
And that's it. That's living. I guess what I realized is that I was doing in life what I should be doing and what I'm most passionate about. And I was pretty damn lucky to be doing it. And that's having a job in hockey. So that was a big one for me. And obviously friends and family are huge. The teamwork for people to recover. So anybody that has, family, loved ones that are going through any battle, health battle, the more you can support them, the better, I feel. And I learned that through my experience. Just messages and texts and encouragement. It just gives you a boost that it's unexplainable. And that was really, really cool from the hockey community to me in those moments, and very energizing, inspiring as well.
Oh, I can only imagine. After that, you're probably like, no. I'm not relaxing. I could move. I could do what the hell I want. I just beat the hell out of this. No, let's go.
Cam, I had the energy of a young Cam Jansen.
Well, don't get too crazy now.
I did. Almost. Yeah, you're right. I can't get that crazy.
You got to be somewhat subtle. But let me ask you this. You seem like, look, we always do our research, and you have people just absolutely love you. But when you were interim and your first practice, like, how'd you go about that? How nervous were you? And I know it's a big deal. Like, you're going in, and you gotta have that first practice. And I know you had games in between and all that shit, but how was that experience? Were you like, fuck this, let's go 100 miles an hour? Like, I could picture you being that guy that's, let's go. Although there's games in between. But how'd you set up that first practice, and was it nerve-wracking?
It was more go. It was much less nerve-wracking. But I will say, if I hadn't spent time with Joel Quenneville and with with Ralph Kruger in my 2 years in Buffalo, I walked in from, say, an American League job or from the outside, I would have been nervous as heck, not knowing the players. Mm-hmm. I don't think I probably wouldn't have shown it as nervous as I was, because you've been through it so many times. But in this case, I knew the players, and the players knew me. They saw me as a member of an NHL coaching staff. So I had nothing to prove to them. I worked with them on video. I talked to them about, whatever it is in hockey that they needed. And so when I walked in the locker room, every face in there was familiar with me, and I was familiar with them. So it was actually really easy. I took over on an off day, so the players were not allowed to be coached. It was a mandatory day off, which in NHL you have four days a month that you have to give your team. So that's when the transition happened, when it was a mandatory off day. So I talked to every guy on the phone that day and asked them, I said, what are you looking for in this? Unfortunately, we had to make a change, and what do you believe we need next? And my first talk with them was 2 hours before the Boston Bruins game that we were playing. And I said, listen, we'll get into greater detail tomorrow or when we can here. But in short, this is what the majority of you had to say, and everybody had to say one of these two or three things when I spoke to him on the phone. So let's proceed this way. And it was, all stuff that I could tie into what I thought we needed to change and alter and where we were at that point, and it worked. It was a message that they kind of created, and I could put it in the context of what we wanted to do as a coaching staff, and we were on the move right away.
Hey, how do you define culture?
Yeah.
And how do you change a culture? Because, listen, nobody likes losing.
Yep.
And players hate it. I was talking to Brandon Saad about that the other day. He goes, when you win early in your career, all of a sudden you go somewhere where you're not winning, like it's miserable. You don't want to lose. So how do you change that, Donnie, and truly get the people that you're coaching, the players, like to believe that you can win when they've been losing for so many years in a row?
Well, there is an absolute, you have to go about that tactically, skillfully, I guess, as a staff, as basically an army within your staff. And I talked to our entire staff before I talked to the players and pushed them to be leaders and tried to sell them that they are leaders. They're going to influence guys positively or negatively. So, I always believe everyone's a leader. Everyone, can get somebody to follow them. And they often do. And are you a positive leader or a negative leader? But you're one of them at various moments. So, be aware of that. But as far as, our team and teams, you mentioned culture and belief, everything surrounds belief and expectation, self-expectation, or, what you expect of others or the team or the situation. And, we had to work right with those, go to work right with those. The belief system was shot by our guys. The first meeting, most of the guys had their head down. I had to tell them to pick their head up. And, if you're a coach, you obviously have to make your players believe, which means you have to bring clarity to them so they see exactly what you see or what you are laying out, your vision, and they can see that clear enough, they're going to be confident enough. They can start seeing results of it. And our guys did. So we tried to lay out as much as we could and bring clarity to it, that they could latch onto it. And the other component we really did is work with each guy individually, to help them, see ways that they could be successful within a game. And in the end, I guess what's coming to mind now is when you go into a game, we felt overwhelmed. We're losing a game and we didn't know why. We just felt overwhelmed. And so a big component was to bring some clarity to, okay, the other team is not overwhelming us. We lost the game because we didn't execute things that were within our control. So when you can bring that to your team visually, they're going to start to feel like, oh, great, I'm not overwhelmed. We're not overwhelmed by the opponent. In fact, we can dictate the game as well as anybody else. So, but you have to show them the clarity of how to do that systematically, technically, tactically. And that was what we did, as quick as we could with video and through practice, where they could then gain that clarity, which then became confidence, and always becomes confidence. And that was what we had at the end of the year when the players left. I talked to numerous players that just said they didn't even want to go home. I remember the media asking us, with 5 games left, Coach, are you worried about the last 5 games? Your team has nothing to play for. And I said, it's the opposite. I said, they don't want to go home. And I said, you can ask them that when they come in front of you, but they're as engaged as they ever, because now they can see ways to win, and they just want to win. We're a long way, I would say, from winning consistently. Actually, I shouldn't say a long way. You don't know how long you are away from winning consistently, but we're learning how to win, and we're identifying with ways to win. And that's the first, big step. And it's a big step because you gain confidence with that.
No one's a long way of winning, man. Like everybody, it changes every damn year. So let me explain this. Like, so you have a fresh start. You're going to training camp. Is there anything different that you're going to implement in training camp? And look, I've been through a bunch of them. Some years you do extra workout shit, or you're doing this, you're doing that. But like, are you doing like team oriented shit, like going to a place where they have to fall and they catch, or whatever the hell it is?
None of that.
Like the
None of that.
What do you think? Is there anything?
None of that guru stuff.
Okay.
None of that guru stuff at all. I mean,
Okay.
it. There's no better team building than I've never been one to take my team to go somewhere else to have a third party build our team.
Yeah.
Practicing riding a bus is team building, and you go into play Boston or Philly. There's no greater team building than going in different buildings, and so everything we do is team building naturally. And I think the biggest component for me in training camp, having been through numerous ones at the NHL level, is we want to just get our guys feeling good about their game as quick as we can. And that's really the focus for me going into camp. I don't really care to impart any of my wisdom on them or, things like that. It's about them, and we'll do our best to get these guys going.
No, some teams, they'll do the ropes course.
They'll do all that
They'll
shit.
do the trust falls.
I always fall on my head, and I get a concussion.
They go bowling. Time to talk a little bit about Daredevil hockey, the ultimate in performance plus protection. Daredevil is a lightweight compression-based layer designed with Kevlar cut-resistant fabric overlays that protects all the vulnerable areas of the upper and lower body from skate lacerations. Get yours now. www.daredevilhockey.com. Use that promo code Cam and Strick. You'll save 25%. Now back to the interview. Let's go. Donnie, take me back to Chicago. Growing up with the Granados, you had Cammy, you had Tony. Was Cammy always the best player? Were you guys jealous of Cammy? When did she start getting attention?
Hey, honestly, Cammy, and this is an honest statement, her talent was incredible. She could pick up new games and new things and coordination skills, and it was better than us as far as she could pick it up. I mean, if she didn't top out at 120 pounds or whatever it was when she played, that the physicality is what really limited her game. But her sense and knack was just incredible when it came to athletics. Whatever she did or we did in the yard or sports she played. But it was fun. It was great. Our other brother, Robbie, we have two other brothers. And Robbie was closest to us, 2 years younger than me and 2 years older than Cammie. And we played, the four of us, Tony being the oldest, we played games 2-on-2 everywhere. It was always Tony and Cammie, the oldest and youngest, together in that group, and Robbie and I against them. And that was just a battle, as every brother combination knows, or family, big family knows. Every day we played a game and beat the crap out of each other.
Is it so, Cam? So let me get this right. You guys are going like ski trips or something. Cameron would get right up on the skis, slalom. She'd go down the mountain. She'd do this, and you guys are like fucking toe picking, and like, yeah, she's just the best athlete in the group. Like, was that the case?
I'm glad we didn't go skiing, because it would have been probably just as you described it.
Yeah, man.
Probably would have, but yeah, no, that's exactly. I mean, she did. She picked up things fast. She had no idea how good she was. I mean, even when she was going into her first Olympics, you know, her confidence level was not real high, because she was the youngest of, like I said, us, that group of four. We have another brother and sister as well, but we were the four that played sports every day against each other. She was the youngest, 7 years younger than Tony. So she always looked up to us and thought we were good. So she never thought she was good. And we'd watch her amongst her peers and she'd be dominant. But her measuring stick was her older brother. So even again, going into the first Olympics, we had to tell Cam, listen, you're pretty good, you know, which was funny. It's funny. And she still has that approach today.
All right, explain this to me. Because Tony right now, he's at the University of Wisconsin. You were his assistant for a year or two. You played there. You won a national championship.
Captain.
But like the life of a head coach of a powered program like that, like what kind of life is it for a head coach at a program like Wisconsin? You know, like the lure of the NHL is always there, right? But it's a pretty good life when you're coaching one of those teams in a town like that, right?
It is. It's a great spot. I mean, the University of Wisconsin and Madison, Wisconsin are both of those entities are amazing. And then you have the fan support, the venues, the buildings, and the weight rooms, and the food they serve you each day as an athlete. And you're around you're around future NBA players, you're around future NFL players. It's really neat. It extends way beyond hockey when you're talking. It's like a mini Olympic village sometimes when you walk around campus there. So it's a great experience. And for Tony, you know, his wife is from there. So they're happy to be back there, and it's a great setup. He loves the kids. I mean, he's having a blast. He was a longtime assistant coach after he played. Primarily, he was an assistant coach. So now to run his own program again, he's really found out a lot of joy in that, as he could set a tone and create things daily.
Let me ask you this. It might be a dumb question, but I don't really give a shit. You grind in the minors, you coach in the minors. You see, and I play with a bunch of guys that are just, God, they're dominant. They're dominant, Donnie. And all of a sudden, they just can't figure it out. You've seen a bunch of these guys. What do you think the main reason is why these cats can't make the NHL?
Well, that's a great, not only observation, but question, Cam, because when I do speak to youth coaches and go to different symposiums and speak on this. I did this actually for the Blues one year. Larry Plow asked all the department heads to speak to the management team and the team in St. Louis at training camp, what you do and how you do it. And at that time, I was an American League coach for the Blues. So my job was to develop players. And how do we develop players? And I had the summer to kind of put the thing together. And I looked at all the players we had, like Barrett Jackman, for example, and Dwayne Rollison. And I looked at the characteristics of all the guys I had that went up to the NHL and stayed up there. And then players that were maybe first-round picks and went up and had a chance and then came back down and went up again and down and maybe never made it. Or high-profile guys, Hobey Baker winners and those sorts of things. And when I did that, and I looked at all those and studied them. I mean, I knew all these guys inside out. I was their head coach, asking them to do this and pushing them to do that. So I knew how they would respond to all that stuff. And it comes down to things like being coachable. It comes down to things like fast learners. It comes down to things like maintaining a daily routine. So if you had a team, outing at night, you didn't get home till 3 a.m. I can tell you right now, Dwayne Roloson and Barrett Jackman, would be just like everybody else. They might feel miserable at 8 a.m. when they woke up, but their routine was to be at the rink at 8:30 for an 11 a.m. practice, so they could do a little bit of training and rehab and stretching, whatever. They got up no matter how miserable they felt.
Yep.
They got up at the same time,
right.
And they went to the rink, and they didn't get off their routine. When maybe another guy said, you know what, I got a headache this morning. I'll sleep in for another hour, even if I get off my routine. And you see all those little subtleties, and, it comes down to, how big of a price are you willing to pay to make it up to the NHL or to stay in the NHL? And, you weren't the most talented player, Cam, obviously.
I tell them that all the time.
Shock to you from the standpoint of just skill, but the talent you had to persevere, to scrap and claw. I don't mean fight. I mean determination to play, to go after a loose puck, to be ready for practice, to compete hard in practice. Those are the things that got you to the NHL, that determination and ahead of guys that were twice as talented as you, say, or more talented than you. And so it has nothing to do with talent. I mean, obviously you have to have enough talent to get to the NHL, but I tell people all the time, there's thousands of guys, literally thousands of guys good enough to play in the NHL that just can't do it, and they won't do it. And
the sleeping part's a big deal, man. I'm telling you right now. I forced myself to get up no matter what, even if you didn't sleep that
Did you
night.
ever have a morning where you didn't feel very well?
Are you out of your mind? I would get there so early, and then Lou Lamoriello would walk in like, "Hi, Lou. Hi, I'm here before everybody." But that's what you did, and yeah, man. The sleeping part, that's just not being motivated. So I was always curious, man. There's always good players that just didn't make it. I don't know.
I know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, those are just some of the parts that I've observed.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. And it's, in the end of the day, Cam, it's competition. It's, a lot of players get by all the way up, and they're just so skilled. Hockey's easy to them.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the NHL, it's not easy because everybody's almost as good as you or a little bit better than you. And even though you scored 50 goals in college hockey, there's no, all those bad guys you beat in college hockey aren't there in the NHL. And
they get up in the morning.
So now it's a competition, So
yeah.
So that's really what changes in essence.
I agree.
What was it about the U.S. program that was attractive to you, outside of the fact of who played for you? And we'll get into some of those names and some of those guys. But what was it about the U.S. program? Did you feel like you were taking your career in the path that it needed to go in? Were you concerned you were going backwards? What was your mindset heading to the U.S. program?
Yeah, there was nothing more than just a great opportunity to work with exceptional talent. Mm-hmm. That was the whole gist of it. I mean, Jimmy Johansson at the time called me. I was a pro scout at the time with Vancouver. We just went to the Cup Finals. It was a great year for me because I got to work with the coaches doing pre-scouts all the way up to the Cup. And then I got that call, and I thought, my God, this is an incredible opportunity. And it went through. I mean, I coached Brady Tkachuk and Matthew Tkachuk and Charlie McAvoy, Zach Werenski, Austin Matthews. I mean, it was amazing the amount of talented players that I had the opportunity to work with. And if you think of it this way, they come to the program without any need or dependence on systems or teammates because they were just so skilled in bantam hockey that they just basically could go end to end or score a goal or two or three a game. So there was no concern for them to think about systems or to pay attention. I always say the best players never have to pay attention to the coach in meetings because they're going to get ice time regardless. They're the best players. So if you're down a goal, they're going on the ice. So really they don't have to pay attention to any details. But when you get those kids at the national team, we put them in a league right away in the USHL from Bantam hockey. They have to pay attention to details or we're going to get pounded. And so that's probably why those players are so much better prepared to seize a job or get a job in the NHL than other players drafted because they've had to fight through that adversity and learn how to play with their teammates and pick up on systems and tactics other than just their skill set to survive at the national team program. And so as a coach, to have kind of that open canvas and try to implement systems to talented players for the first time really helps you as a coach. What drills do you run in practice? And What can you run just in video or on a dry marker board? And what player needs this compared to that player? So for me, it was a laboratory, and I would have not been able to take advantage of it as I felt I did if I hadn't been in the NHL prior or the AHL prior. I really went in there with a lot of hindsight, and what Cam mentioned a couple minutes ago, why talented players didn't make the NHL, and lots of them. And so here I am with this group of talented players. And I'm saying, okay, I'm not going to teach them what you typically would as a coach. I'm going to really work with them. And okay, this is how you're going to get to the NHL. When you get to training camp, this is how you're going to get a job. You have to take someone's job. This is how you're going to do it. What does the coach expect of you? What slot are you in? What role are you? What's your skill set? Because your skill set is always at the previous level. So if you think you had speed and you scored 50 goals, in junior hockey, you move up a level, you might not have speed anymore. You might be one of the slower guys. So if you scored 40 of those 50 goals because of speed, you're down 40 goals right there. And if you're not as strong as your competition, you scored 5 because you all-muscled the guy, well, you're down 5 more goals. That means you're going to score 5 goals this year. And when you score 5, it's going to be a mystery to you because you can't figure it out. What happened to me? And so I'd been through lots of those situations with American League players and guys that had gone up to the NHL and come down and not known how to seize that opportunity when they got called up. And with that hindsight, to go into the national team program was a dream for me as a coach.
Okay, so I got to ask you about Austin Matthews because, when he got to the camp, right? I mean, he really wasn't on the radar as being the best player. I think you found that out pretty quickly, but still, coming out of Arizona, not everybody knew a ton about him. And this is before he's hanging out with Bieber and making $11+ million a year and all that type of stuff, right? So, who was Austin Matthews back then? How coachable was he? And what were your first impressions of him?
Extremely coachable, and he had a monstrous appetite. He was the guy that was in the back of the line and calculating, okay, when is Zach Werenski or Charlie McAvoy going to take the one-on-one? Okay, let me jump in there. I want to go against Charlie, or I want to go against Zach. After practice, he'd grab guys to do skill stuff and the competition stuff, not skill stuff, just competing. Mm-hmm. So you could see that Lions appetite he had to get better and to challenge himself. We would bring the players before the tryout camp, the year before they would come in for a tryout, we'd have them, bring them in on a recruiting trip, or our director of player personnel would do that. And if we were practicing, we'd throw them on the ice with us and they'd skate. So Austin did that. And I can remember, we did a shootout at the end of practice. He was one of the finalists. He might have won the shootout and keep in mind, this is a birth year 2 years older than him. Mm-hmm. And I walked down to our director of player personnel after. I said, please tell me you have him signed, because you could sign and commit those kids to your program months before the tryout. And he goes, no, we don't have him signed. We don't need him signed. I said, please get him signed. Just sign him so I could sleep. And he didn't sign him right away. But I could tell right away. I mean, you're around enough hockey players. Mm-hmm. The first week or two we had him at the national team. My brother, Tony, was coaching in Pittsburgh as an assistant. I said, Tone, we have a kid that's as good or going to be better than Sidney Crosby. And he's like, get out of here. You've had these kids for 5 days. How the hell do you know that? And I said, I do. I know that right now. So you could see the talent he had right away.
Okay, but McAvoy, he told us a story about how he got a text when he was in class in high school. He wasn't even invited.
He wants $10 million
to the camp. So, I mean, listen, it's hard to listen. I could see how you'd miss somebody, but whatever. Now he comes, and then tell us that story.
Well, he wasn't invited, but I got two calls, 2 weeks before the tryout. One was from Jeff Jackson, who I was with the Toronto Maple Leafs. He was assistant GM of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and now he's an agent with the Orr Group. And Jax calls me and says, Donnie, I think you're scouts. I think you guys missed a kid. And it was Charlie McAvoy. And about a day later or 2 days later, Pat DiPuzzo, former NHL linesman, and now he's a scout, or he was a scout at the time in the NHL as well. He is today too. And he calls, Donnie, you missed a guy from my area. And it's Charlie McAvoy. So I looked, I opened a file box I had in the back of the cabinet where I saw the 200 kids in our USA Hockey Select 15 camp the summer before. And you're watching 200 kids that you are going to see potentially at your tryout camp 12 months later or 9 months later. So I don't remember Charlie McAvoy. I remember that he was in the camp, and I was flipping through the thing, and I had an A next to his name. So I thought, I obviously like this kid. So I walked down to the office of the director of player personnel at the time, and I said, hey, we need to get this kid to camp. And so we did, and the rest is history. He made the team, and obviously was a key for us at the program.
Isn't there a similar story about Adam Fox, too, who just won the Norris? Like, he was kind of like under the radar, too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was not in the birth year I coached, but I do remember the tryout camp, and I don't remember all the details of what you're saying, but he was still an undersized, small guy at that time, tiny, and, you know, playing up from Bantam hockey, you jump right to the USHL the next year. It was absolutely a concern. I do remember that much, but it wasn't a concern long because as everyone knows, he's good.
He's good.
Cam and Strick podcast here for our boy Dan Bellman with Bellman.com.
Yeah, baby.
You need some new wheels? Why not get a Cadillac, a Buick, a GMC? Head out to Troy today. And again, don't forget about Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram right across the street.
No doubt.
Right there in Troy, Missouri. Visit them online. Check out their new selection, the pre-owned selection, the best service you will find anywhere in the country. Bellman.com. BEHLMANN.com. Get yourself some new wheels in time for the summer.
Yeah.
Now back to the interview.
So how do these scouts fuck up, though? So you see some of these drafts, man, and you just miss on cats. And I get some of the Russian kids, maybe some of the European kids, but some of the North American guys where you're all in on and they just don't make it. Or some kid that is there and you don't notice. Like, how do these scouts fuck that up? Like, what's the biggest reason?
Well, it's hard to be a scout, and I don't know that they screw it up. Their scout's job primarily is to assess talent and skill. So, you know, then the next thing you might have to do is put that in the context of, you know, how much is this kid going to develop? And we talked about it with Austin Matthews. The appetite to develop was enormous. And that's a greater measure of success when you're evaluating a young kid than actually the skill that he's at. But, you know, when you're a scout, so you can't just rate everybody's skill and say, okay, this is the most skilled guy at 16, so therefore he projects the best at 18. There's so much more that goes into it, and it's a lot of intangibles. Like I said, the appetite being one, you know, that rink rat quality. When you're a head coach or on a coaching staff, you see the differences because you're the one asking, hey, Austin, I need you to do this. And you see the response, if he does it or not, or doesn't. And so, you know, you do have probably a better success at gauging potential when you're in the position of a coach. You know, so if I was going to go scout a bunch of kids right now, those are the things I would say, okay, I don't know the answers to these, but these are the ones I need to find out. Because I can assess this player is better than that player right now. But in a month, that could switch. You know, if this guy's training harder and, again, that daily routine, he's getting up every morning he's going to bed at night thinking about hockey.
Yep.
The other guy's not going to bed at night thinking about hockey, even though he's just more talented right now.
Mm-hmm. You know, that 97 birth year, though, it's crazy. You look at the names, Donnie, like it's loaded. Like arguably maybe the best birth year that's ever gone through USA Hockey, certainly right up there, if not number one. But like besides Matthews, you had Greenway, McAvoy, Cunnin, Keller, Troy Terry. You got Tage Thompson right now with you over there in Buffalo, Christian Fisher, but Matthew Tkachuk. Listen, you mentioned the Tkachuks. Like, did he bring the same brand to his game that we see in the NHL right now? Did he bring that as a young kid in the USHL? Like, was he willing to get under the skin of opponents and get in the face of guys even as a young kid like that?
He was what you see today is what he was. You know, that's his fiber. He knows no other way. It's his personal standard is to compete like that. So he was a lot of fun, and he even has that edge respectfully in a practice. You know, he's not running a guy in practice, but he's pushing his teammate, and he'll push his teammate physically as well. But again, as a really good teammate, some guys go overboard. You know, there's no balance to them. But you Matthew and Brady, both extremely intelligent, not only players, but people in that regard. And, he added a lot to his teammates. He pushed the competitiveness of our group much as he does in the NHL.
Oh, he's a good kid. Both of them are. We love the whole family. Jeez, Walt was my favorite teammate. Oh my God, don't even get me started on him. How much fun I had with that son of a bitch. Love him to death. Let me ask you this: so, you're in Buffalo. You don't have any kids, and neither do I. And I think I'm adopting Andy's kids because he's neglecting them left and right. So I might adopt, but I don't have any kids. How's your setup in Buffalo, man? You got a nice place. Like you're making a little bit of money now. You don't have kids in college. You chilling?
No, it's just simple. It's simple. I'm doing what I love every day, and I don't need a whole lot else to get me excited. So. I'm actually in an apartment that I like in Buffalo, and I'm going to keep it because I like it.
See,
I just don't feel like going. Well, again, I didn't get hired till
true that.
The beginning of July, right? And so, and now I'm just thinking about the season ahead. So, I'm not thinking about any big house or new car. I can tell you that.
I'll think about it for you. How's that? I'll let you know what to get. You're going to be successful.
What's way, way more exciting and fun than that?
Winning?
Wins.
No doubt about it.
And you know that as well as anybody.
Shit.
So there's nothing that could make me happier or more excited than that. And, some of the work you do for that even now. I mean, I was watching film this morning. I enjoyed it. I watched some of the players that we just signed and trying to get ready for training camp and how to communicate with them best and move them along. So, I'm doing what I love, as I mentioned before. So I'll just keep doing it.
All right, a few more questions, man, and we'll
well,
let you
you're
go.
going to have like some sort of dinner party, and they might not fit in that apartment. That's all I'm saying.
I got a big family, so yes, you're right about that. So.
I knew a lot of coaches like that.
Man.
I think
Blue collar, baby.
Berube lives in a condo. Like
I love it.
Hitch always lived in a condo. I don't know. Not everybody's looking for the
Hitch is cheap,
big
though.
mansion.
He's being cheap.
Yeah. Don't be cheap. Don't be cheap. Hey, but I got to ask you, Donnie, because you're the coach of the Buffalo Sabres, so I have to ask you, like all this talk about like Jack Eichel. Here's how I'm going to ask you. Like when you're the new coach, even though you've been around, first I want to hear, I'm curious your relationship with Jack. Like what kind of relationship do you guys have? But do you just completely stay out of it? Are they talking to you? Are they giving you updates as to what's going on?
Yeah.
Or do you just not even really want to know? You just want to coach the guys that are there?
I will stay out of any of the stuff that that you would read in between the management and the player anytime, unless I was asked. If I was asked to be involved in it, I would. I'm not asked to be involved in this one, and that's good because I want my relationship with Jack to just be player coach. And if Jack's back and playing with the Buffalo Sabres, I'm as excited as anybody to have him, and probably more than that, actually. But if that happens, that happens. It's a great day for me, and I will do whatever I can to get Jack playing his best, like I focus on with every guy. And so that's how I approach it. There's not, I just don't like drama. I hate drama. And getting involved in that. It's just nothing but a distraction. It's, hey, on day one of training camp, if whatever players we have there, that's who I'm working with. That's it. So in the interim, I'm not going to play the hypothetical, this, that, or the other. As I mentioned this morning, I threw some film on of guys that are coming in. Well, yeah, I'm watching guys. There's plenty of things to fill my day that can be productive when I want to turn it to hockey. So if I spend 2 hours a day working on hockey right now, there's more than enough stuff to cover that would be very, very productive. So I don't need to spend any time or energy into that. Others are handling it, and I'll just trust that process.
Yeah, okay. Listen, and that's the way you should do it. All right, you're a college guy. You've won as a player, and now you just draft this kid first overall, Owen Power, the big defenseman.
Yeah.
And there's all this talk that maybe he's going to go back to Michigan and whatever. Do you get involved in his decision-making like Donnie? Because I know you want him on your team. He's a good player. He could help you guys. You just lost a defenseman. But do you just let him do what he feels is best for himself, or do you weigh in on that?
Yeah, I think the process has to play out. We just finished, like every team, and I say we, the entire league just finished the draft, the free agency. There's ARB cases, there's UFAs to sign, RFAs to sign. So, teams are so busy right now, working through those because that's the urgency. And I think after that, the teams would turn, okay, what do we do with our young guys? Who might we sign on an entry-level deal now? So when and if it turns to that, when, I guess, if it's this year or next year or whatever, and I'm asked to be involved in it or an opinion on it or viewpoint on it, I'm happy to give it. But I'm not going to push that. It's not for me to push. That would be obviously management first, and then, the coaching second in regard. So no need for me to worry about that right now. I do know Owen. I've watched Owen since he was probably 14 years old. First time I watched him was up in Toronto. He was in Chicago. When I was in Chicago with the Blackhawks, I'd go watch him practice. And I don't think anybody knows this. I don't think anybody in the Sabres knows this. But knew his mom and know his mom and dad. I've known them since way back then. And I would go over and watch him practice and go talk to him after a game or after practice. And, ironically, I end up in Buffalo, and he ends up as the first pick overall. So quite amazing that our paths cross, because I can tell you when I watched him as a kid, first time I saw him, I was a coach at the University of Wisconsin. I thought, boy, I'd love to have this kid. And I just left the national team. And I can remember telling Tony at the time, much like I said about Austin Matthews, I said about Owen, where he's going to be a high draft pick is what I see out of him. And that happened, and we obviously drafted him again. And it's pretty exciting whenever he arrives here. I'll be very excited with that one.
Yeah, he's a big kid. If Michigan doesn't win the next championship, what the fuck is that? It's like the 0-2 Red Wings back in the day. Like, come on now. Yeah. They got how many guys that get drafted out of that bad boy?
They got a bunch of guys.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know.
They have a lot of talent.
Holy shit.
They do. It's incredible.
Well, we'll see if the second overall pick, we'll see if he goes back there. I don't know how this is all going to play out. But last thing for you, though, college hockey, though, hypothetically speaking, if he goes back to college, and he could sign with you guys at the end of next year, still play NHL games this coming season, but could that, in terms of development, how do you look at that if he played college hockey this season? 35
games, cage.
Yeah, I think whatever he chooses and whatever the choice is, he's going to be fine with development. Okay. He's not in the category of players that I would worry about their development. And what I mean by that is if a player jumps up and say he signs in the NHL, you worry about his physical ability to play at that level, strength, size, and you would worry about him losing confidence, and you'd worry about him maybe not having any skill that he could imprint something within a game. Like I mentioned earlier, speed. Well, he might, but I don't worry about that at the NHL level, or when you don't worry about that at the NHL level with a player, he can kind of develop at the NHL level when he has something there. So with Owen, he's going to be fine whichever he's going to develop, whether it's in college or with us, is my belief, because of the skill set he has in the league. And I say that with the hindsight of watching him against men at the Men's World Championship. He handled himself fine there, and that's a real good indicator that he could develop at the NHL level as well. Now, what's best, you'll never know, because he's going to pick one or the other, and again, he's not going to have any problem either way. Whatever he chooses, he needs to. He'll make a decision. His family, he's an intelligent kid, amazing kid, and really great support of his family. And I'm sure it's going to be a decision that he will look at different pieces and make the right one for him.
Yeah. All right, last thing for you,
Just
Donnie.
like you in high school.
From me. I know. I mean, we didn't even talk about your teams in the mid '90s with the Green Bay Gamblers. You had Ty Conklin as your goaltender. I mean, that's how long you've been doing this. But you've been coaching pro hockey since like the late '90s. I mean, I couldn't be happier for you, man, that you finally got the opportunity, because I know it's been a long time and you've been a real intelligent coach. But when you think about your track to get here, and the path you've taken, like who stands out? Like who have been like some of the most influential people in your coaching career there, Donnie?
You know what's funny is football coach Barry Alvarez.
Oh, yeah.
There are lots of other coaches that I can mention, but Barry Alvarez was a guy that when I was at Wisconsin, the football team perennial, they lost. I mean, it was like 1-10, 2-9, and it was just bad year after year. And my junior year, Barry Alvarez came in, and I used to go watch football practices. We had a rink right next to the football stadium. We'd finish practice. I'd go sit in the stands and watch football. And when Barry Alvarez came in, I watched his football practice. And I was like, wow, is this different? And I couldn't believe the difference in coaching from one to the next and how practices were run. And I was friends with many football players. And instantly, as we talked about earlier in this conversation, the belief system of the football team was non-existent that they were going to win. When Barry Alvarez took over, it was a 180. So all these guys that were in the dorms with me, football players, were like, Donnie, we're going to win. We're going to win. And I had, I'm thinking about it. You guys are nuts. You guys know how bad you are and how bad you've been. So he was, Barry Alvarez was an amazing coach. And then our athletic director at Wisconsin, he's one big guy, big coaching mentor, I guess, from, just observing and talking to him over the years. I would say my high school coach, who was Mark Osicki's father, Mr. Osicki, Tom in Burnsville, Minnesota. And then I would say Joel Quinville was huge too. But, and then under all of that, my parents. I grew up with 5 other brothers and sisters, and it's all coaching. When I reflect on coaching, I can't believe how much of it is like parenting, how they parented us. You had to, we were a team of 6 kids, and you had to sacrifice. You didn't get everything you wanted. And sometimes you were going to Tony's practice, whether you wanted to or not, because you needed to jump in the car or,
Tony.
All those little things, can't fight at the dinner table. You got to wait till after and things like that. That's sacrifice stuff.
Watching Cammy's practices.
Watching Cammy's practices and learning from Cammy's practices, right, Cam?
Damn right.
Yeah. So, So there's a lot. I mean, I just try to learn from everybody and observe and take what you can of the good of so many people that you're around. And we're all around great people in this game. So if you pay attention, there's a lot to be learned.
All right, Donnie, listen, man, you're going to have a great run there in Buffalo, and I wish you nothing but the best. I know people are going to be patient because you're going to do it the right way in terms of how you go about this rebuild, whatever you want to call it. But
they're going to love you, man. They're going to love you.
Yeah, you guys
you're going to have a badass place on the water with a big boat.
We're coming to Buffalo, so get a bigger place there, Donnie.
Until he gets out of his apartment. Once you get out of your apartment, we're coming to Buffalo.
See, if they don't love me, I'm going to hire Cam as security.
That's how you do it.
I want to see you jump.
Expensive,
I want to see you jump on a table at one of those Buffalo Bills freaking
at the ball games.
Oh
I can't.
At one of the
those days are gone.
Donnie,
those days are gone.
Don't do that, please. Okay,
no,
if we're working
happen.
Together, I'll do it for you.
It won't happen. Yeah, exactly.
All right, Donnie, go back to shopping. All the best.
Hey, thank you guys. Have a great day.
Go back to Neiman Marcus. See you, buddy.
See you, Cam. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
All right, that was Donnie Granato joining us here on the Cam and Strick pod, man. Always good to talk with him. And again, he's an NHL head coach. People laugh at it because it's Buffalo and whatever, man. But it's got some good young players. And I'll be interested to see what he can do, man. I thought they had some momentum. They started playing better after he took over last year.
Yeah, man. Look, you can only do so much. And they're in that weird rebuilding stage to where there's a lot of drama. And once the drama's gone, look, you know how you defeat all the negativity? You just win. You win games. And that doesn't mean they're going to have to go win a Stanley Cup, but you just go fucking be competitive. And as long as you're competitive, it just changes your atmosphere. You could be shit and have a worse reputation. And all of a sudden you start winning and you have a couple winning years. Everything changes. But I tell you this, of all the shit we've heard from Buffalo, man, they had to change a couple shit. They had to do a couple different things, a couple things differently, I should say, Andy. As far as their medical staff and things like that, too much negativity, too much weird drama going on. Fix the issue, and once you fix it, it's okay. Like, you can't harp on the negativity if it's not negative anymore and things are okay. So you just got to change that mindset for people to want to go there. And you know what? He's got, a tough task in front of him, but he seems like a good guy, man. And that's what you need. You need a good, uplifting guy that brings confidence to your team.
Yep. And that's just part of it. And it kind of helps if you really know what you're doing too. And he does. Like this guy is
it's his blood, man.
Like it's in his blood.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, and like Ray Ferraro was his brother-in-law too. Like he's just constantly talking hockey. Like you're around family, you're just constantly talking hockey. And he's been with some like elite level coaches. Like he and Joe Quenneville. Like Joe Quenneville's not bringing him on board to be an assistant coach, man, if he doesn't know what he's doing. And he's worked with Joel. He's worked with a lot of good people, man. And again, like I said, I think his time at the U.S. program really helped him. Like you look at how good all those kids are. Like it just doesn't happen by accident. I know they're all talented, but to have as many guys as he had come through that program that he had a personal impact on, who not only became good players, but became good players right away. You don't normally see that many good players just step into the NHL and find immediate success. And he had a hand in that. So again, man, we appreciate Donnie Granado for joining us. And I wish him nothing but the best, dude. And listen, my family's from Buffalo. We're not like piling on Buffalo, man. I'm not looking to do that. I know, like, you know, some people obviously didn't like some of the comments that Robin Leonard had to say about Buffalo because it makes their city look bad, makes their team look bad, makes their fan base look bad.
Yeah.
When players are getting booed and stuff like that all the time. But I know how passionate the Buffalo fan base is. That's where my roots are from. All my family's from Buffalo. I grew up going to Buffalo all the time, every single summer. Lived there, you know, for a short time when I was a young kid. So I know what it's all about there in Buffalo, dude. So again, you talk about the Rangers being good and some of these other teams that like the NHL is better when those teams are good, man. Buffalo's got a lot of history too, dude. And when those teams were good back in, you know, the Chris Drury days and the Ryan Miller days, and they had some good players, Brian Campbell, all these guys, man, they were fun to watch back then. And I'd like to see Buffalo, who's got a passionate fan base. Jay McKee, talked to him today, by the way.
Cheesy bye.
He's on his way back up to Hamilton.
My motherfucker's coming on, Andy. Don't make me put my fucking foot down. He knows what's up.
I can't wait to have him on. That'll be fun.
Well,
again, real quick, though, in summary, Buffalo, you see it on the football side. Historically, the hockey fan base there, like they know the game. They're so close to Toronto. A lot of people come down from Toronto. They got a lot of Canadian transplants and whatever. I'd like to see Buffalo be good again.
Man, look at the top markets as far as viewership when it comes to TV
ratings. Yep.
Where's fucking Buffalo? Fucking number one. Pittsburgh up there. St. Louis up there. You gotta give shout outs, man. There's fucking hockey fans in St. Louis and Pittsburgh and Buffalo. And Buffalo's right by the Canadian border. I get that. But they support their team and they deserve better. And you're gonna get better. All the shit show is gonna be out of there, man. The Blues went through some funky ass shit in 2005. I always worry wrap around to the Blues, but we were here. We saw it firsthand, and we listened to people talk. We just know it went down, especially you. And Buffalo just deserves better. And again, you could be shit on and just be the worst team in the league, and all of a sudden you're not. And it doesn't matter anymore because you're good now. So it just takes one fucking year, man, to turn everything around. You have the base, you have the viewership, and congratulations to the fan base up there for still spending money and kicking ass and watching, because you keep this thing alive, man. It is what it is. Whether you chirp them or not, you're watching.
Hey, they got to move on from the Eichel situation, though, man.
Yeah,
honestly, and I'm a big fan of Eichel and everything, but you just don't need the drama. I mean, really, honestly, that's what it comes down to. Like, drama is never good for anybody, and it certainly isn't good with star players in professional sports. So they got to find a way to get that down. I don't understand the whole situation with him wanting a specific surgery, them not letting him. I don't get all that.
What's a Vladdy situation? It's just saying, look, what's the medical teams involved and shit? It's just he said this, they said that. What the fuck? Figure it out. Figure it the fuck out. You got fucking hardcore fucking iron workers up there busting their goddamn ass. Don't go spending money on you guys. Figure it the fuck out. Like now I get pissed because it's like enough's enough. But again, like I feel bad for the fans. That organization, you figure it the fuck out because you owe it to them. Because I tell you what, who knows what's going down? They might not have the money to come anymore, or they give a fuck because you guys aren't doing anything. enough to turn things around. So you better give it to the fans, man. You better figure something out for them.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
The Blues figured it out. They did. They were fucking bad, dude. And they figured it out. Come grow with us. I think we're all part of that, Andy. When we wheeled around this town. That was fun.
They're like, Jay McKee, he'll help us win.
Like Cam, Osh, Perry, and Bobby Plager go on a cruise down to Salem, Missouri for 3 days and talk to fans. We're like, yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll do that. And a blast. Bobby Plager with oh, God, Andy. Come grow with us. We did everything they asked.
That's
and it
so
worked.
Funny.
It worked. They packed it in.
Funny.
They packed it in.
Was Donnie here when you were here or no?
He was gone.
No, he was gone.
Yeah, he was gone.
He had just left.
Yeah, I don't remember him. Yep.
But again, he's done a lot of different things, man. He scouted for Vancouver, Toronto, head coach, American League. He's been coaching for a long time, and he's been an assistant in the NHL for a long time, too. So we wish Donnie Granato all the best, and we appreciate him for coming on and joining us here on the Cam Strick podcast. As always, brought to you by Car Shield, Cam. Give Car Shield a shout-out.
I do. They fixed my shit. Remember, I was embarrassed. Remember, I came out of the restaurant and everybody's like, "I can't," and I'm like, crank. Fucking starter didn't go. I'm like, oh God, it's that fucking embarrassing. When something goes down with your boat or your car, it's very embarrassing. You need to get over it. But if you have the right shit, it goes away that much quicker. Car Shield, I went right up the street because I could pick out my own mechanic to work on it, and I'm like, call my buddy, go, come get this goddamn thing, and he got it in 2 seconds. Car Shield took care of it. Never even had to talk to him. Very easy. And I don't know, it's just like, especially with kids and stuff, Andy, you're taking Ty up to Carmel Rink, Indiana, where it's like really shitty, and your fucking car goes out, and you're like, oh, Ty, let's get directions from this guy. And you're like, and they rob you, and you're fucked. Like, you can't have that, okay? You just can't have it.
No, you can't have that. Can't have it. I don't know if that's what
you
goes
can't
down.
care anything with that car.
Carmel's actually a nice-ass suburb of Indiana.
Is it?
Oh, like the nicest one. Again, you have no idea.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. I haven't been to a rink up there either. But my nephew, man, he plays AAA hockey in Indianapolis, dude. Like the rink there in Carmel, or is it Carmel? It's Carmel. It's nice.
It was dog shit when
that's where all like the wealthy people live in Carmel.
Really?
Yes.
That's fake wealthy people like you? No, is it the poor part of the wealthyville?
No, that's like the real one.
Okay. Maybe I'm confused with Gary, Indiana. Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, Gary.
It's been a long time.
Dude, Gary. Oh, my God. States. Yeah, that's a tough spot.
Bad. Gary, Flint.
Hey, you come out of Flint or Gary, dude. You're tough, dude.
You're fucking Nate Diaz. You're fucking Stockton. Stockton's another hardcore ville out in California where it's fucking
who's Nate Diaz?
Oh, you boxer? Just like hardcore Stockton. Like you just rugged, dude. When you come out of
fucking. What are you talking about? Stockton? What are you talking about?
Stockton, California is also hardcore.
Is Nate Diaz from Stockton or is he from Gary?
Yeah, Stockton. What's up? Why don't you go on YouTube and watch some UFC fights, Andy, and become?
I do. I watch a lot of them. Dude, I watch and I break them down better than anybody. Dude.
You didn't even know who Nate Diaz was? You don't know who Nate and Nick Diaz are?
Is he a main event? If he's not a main event, I don't watch it.
He's a motherfucking main event. What are you talking about? God,
I watch McGregor fights.
Nah, he's dead to me.
And I watch that dude with the last name Strickland too. That's my guy too.
Oh, he's a little handsome motherfucker too.
Well, that's what happens. That's how we roll.
He's got cauliflower ear and a neck, which you don't.
Well, how do you treat that? I've got an elbow injury. I got cauliflower ear on my elbow, dude.
Yeah.
You see how swollen this is?
Look it looks badass, Andy.
Look at that thing. Look at that thing.
Badass. Get that fucking thing drained like a man. Drain it yourself, fuck's sakes. Cut it with a fucking thing.
No way.
Cut it with light a goddamn knife and cut that fucking thing, dude.
I don't drain. I don't drain that.
Jesus Christ.
Have you ever had anything drained?
Yeah, homeboy.
Have you? What?
Fuck yeah. My elbows, my knee, I had a boil on my leg one time, like a big zit, a boil in Windsor. And Jason Spezza and Otter had to fucking hold me down, and the medical guy burned the fucking thing, cut that mug up, and bam, popped it and wrapped it up, and I had to play. Oh, I still have a scar from that thing, dude. Like when you're an athlete, Andy, you go through weird things. when you're not, your elbow kind of gets inflamed, and you're like, "What happened? I'm wearing this." Nah.
It's probably
Fuck
from
outta here.
like growing up close to a power plant or something. Wherever the fuck you're
Hey
from.
man, there's fucking UFOs out here, baby. UFOs are attracted to power plants, and that's the bottom line, homie. And I got a motherfucking power plant about 7 miles from my house. And I sit on my deck and I listen to 1995 techno, Russian techno, and I jam out the fucking UFOs, homie. And they fly around like, "What's up, Cam?" I'm like, "What up, baby?
I listened
Get that power plant."
I listened to a 1987 Grateful Dead concert from Telluride, Colorado yesterday because I saw a post came up. It's like an iconic pic on social media. I'm like, I gotta look up this concert. I've got so many old school cassette tapes from back in the day, Cam. I don't know what to do with these. Like, what do I do with them? What can I do with them?
What do you mean? What can you do with what?
My old school cassette tapes.
Burn them? What are you
I
gonna do with
got
them?
one live show after another. And like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. What do I do with them?
Throw them away. Go on YouTube and watch the same shit. That's better quality. I mean, Andy, like that's the question you're asking me right now. We're prolonging this podcast for that stupid ass question.
You don't throw them away. These are collector's items.
Cassettes are not worth anything. They might be worth something like in 100 years or something. But right now, records are. Cassettes don't do shit. CDs ain't going to do shit. Now, old records are different, and people vinyl will pay for those. But cassettes, I don't think they're in the market yet, homie. You got to wait like 25 more years. And at that point, if you're waiting on money for those things, you're a jackass.
I just gave away my
basement.
I just gave away my turntables, by the way.
Oh, that's dumb. You had a bunch of records, dude. Those are worth money.
No, I still have the records. There was this family, like these like stragglers. I don't know, like people down the street were moving, and so they were like giving away a bunch of stuff. They were selling stuff. So like this family pulled up in a truck, and they're just like loading stuff up. And so they were kind of like walking around the neighborhood. I don't know what they were doing, Cam. They're kind of looking around.
Well, you got fucking hard. You're in the poor part of the dude.
And I said, well, no, they were picking shit up. So I said, hey, what are you guys looking for? And they're like, are you giving those away? Because I had them by the trash, actually, these turntables. I'm like, yeah, come here. You can have them. So I gave them away. I hooked somebody up. Now some kids jamming out.
In my old subdivision, I told you I got a dumpster, and the whole neighborhood like hung out in it, looking through my trash, taking my shit.
Well, my neighbors don't do that. These are the guys coming by. They're from like Craigslist or something, you know? Like,
yeah, they go. No, look, if you put out a old furniture set, it's gone. If you put out something, a couch, it's gone. Somebody gonna take that, especially out where I live. But where you live, they're just robbing your house. Yeah, so you got to do something about that.
Okay.
Well, no, or move to the wealthy part. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
the poor part has crime.
There's no crime.
And you're paying overpriced. Overpriced for crime. You should have no crime.
There's zero. Cam, my neighborhood. Zero. Cam.
I know where you live, motherfucker.
Dude, zero crime.
Let's look at the stats on that. Nah, I fucking doubt that, dude.
Zero crime.
Doubt that, dude.
In my neighborhood?
I doubt that, dude.
You're
right off Highway 40? No way.
I'm not right off Highway 40.
Hey, you are. You're a half a mile away from Highway 40. What are you talking about? You're half a mile away.
Well, a mile and then back in like a neighborhood, whatever.
Yeah, but you could get in out of there. No, there's crime back there for sure. I saw your neighbors. They look like my neighbors fucking in Eureka.
Dude, I told you the neighbor across the street, he aced the ACT, got 100%. He goes to Harvard.
Did he cure cancer yet? I don't give a fuck. Tell him to cure cancer, and then we'll talk.
And you know what I found out about him? Because like
he's a nerd?
He's like my best friend now. Because he got 100%. He got 100% on the ACT. Like I'm gonna work with him work for him one day, dude.
Yeah,
I'm just like, people who are smart who can help you. You got to like get close to them. He tells me he was like a 4-time state golf champion in high school too. So this guy does everything. He's a golf state champion and the smartest kid in school. And his neighbor, this other kid, now they all start coming out because, like we're chopping wood and doing all that because wood season's coming around. He goes to USC. He graduated with like, I think he missed one question on the ACT. So, I mean, there's no crime going on here, dude.
Look, you could pass every test you want. Do something with your fucking knowledge. Do something with it. If you do something with it, I'm gonna be like, you're fucking cool. But if you just pass fucking tests, I'm like, oh yay. How about you fucking how's this fucking second corona fucking whatever the hell? Cure that goddamn thing. It didn't talk to me.
I got a way to cure
or
that.
Or go to Afghanistan and figure that thing out.
Well, you see those guys like on the plane.
Now,
hold on.
Let me give a shout out.
Well, we're not going to get into political talk, but I have a question for you because I really want to know. What were they doing, dude? They're like jumping on the plane.
Andy, do you realize what the fuck? Do you realize what happened over there? Do you realize what happened?
They pulled out and like the Taliban's taken back over.
Do you know what the Taliban is? Do you know what the fuck the Taliban is?
It's like
They're
Osama
the most ruthless, hardcore motherfuckers in the world. Yeah. And you notice there's not one woman anywhere?
Yeah,
they're
no children either.
Because they let the fucking men who just leave in their country like, oh, let's get out of here. They are fleeing that bad because what the fuck's going to happen?
Okay, now let me ask you this. Let me ask you, because you're not answering my question. So they're like, the plane is taking off, right? It is departing.
Yep.
And they're hanging on the plane. Did the plane take off with the people still hanging on?
Andy, they did.
Why didn't they bring him with them? How come they didn't open the door?
Because they can't put everybody on there. What are you going to let everybody just like open the border? It's like opening like.
Okay, so my question is this:
what
were some of the locals there? Were they already in the plane? Did they load it up?
No, that was a military plane. That was fucking U.S. military. And you notice notice how slow the plane was going and it took off. Do you notice how that works? Because when you're in Afghanistan in the Middle East, the plane doesn't take forever to take off. It goes right up in like a 90-degree angle,
right,
to get away from fucking bazookas and fucking
whatever.
So
real.
They stuck out, and they're on they tried to get on the wheel well, so the wheel well comes up, and then they're stuck underneath it where all the equipment is. But they all fucking fell off. That's how desperate they were. But then you got guys filming it, laughing about it. It is the most bizarre fuck thing in the world. Look, the United States cannot nation build anymore. It's over. My buddies. I would give a shout out to the military. My buddies went over there and they fucking died, and they fucking went over there and they fought for our country, and in fucking 30 hours it collapsed, and it was building up to that point. Been there for 20 years, trillions of dollars. But I still want to give a shout out to my buddies that are fucking have PTSD that were over there grinding, and this shit goes down. We all love you. We fucking support you, man. And you're a bigger man than all of us times a million. And I just want to say that no matter what the outcome is. So there you go. That's all I got to say.
Okay. So hold on. So when the wheels go up, they would like all of a sudden get sucked into that little compartment and they would fly all the way from there to the US.
Well, when you go up in that compartment, that's where like you could it's
like
cold.
The luggage and stuff.
Yeah, Andy, here's the deal.
Would they survive?
They were committing suicide because they don't want to get fucking tortured by the most evil people on the planet. You get that? They don't give a fuck if they fall off 30,000 feet. They want to get the fuck out of there. But they ditched their wife and their kids for that. It's all men. There's not one female. Why do you think that is? They want the females there.
How'd they all get to the airport?
They fucking flooded it. They flooded it. They jumped over shit. How did they get to Lollapalooza in Chicago when they're going to have COVID tests? And all of a sudden, they just tore the goddamn thing down.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Did anybody still hang on? Were they still hanging on when the plane took off?
Andy, I don't know.
Did they
have
fall
any buddies
off?
over there?
Well, why? Well, you may have had a buddy or two there. I don't know.
There's a bunch of U.S. journalists and stuff stuck in that guy. And here, let me give you a little.
Where's the video? I want surveillance of when the plane took off. Did people fall off the plane?
There is. Andy, look it up on YouTube.
I've been watching Meat Eater on Netflix. Have you seen that one? Meat Eater.
Well, why would you watch that? You don't like meat.
Dude, they go into the wilderness.
They cook their own shit.
They kill and then cook it right there. They rip the heart out. There's blood everywhere. You couldn't even do that.
Andy, I'll eat the motherfuck out of anything. Andy,
you're not ripping the heart out of the gut.
Man, look, if I watched Dancing with Wolves, when Kevin Costner had to go with the fucking Native American tribe, and they cut that motherfucking liver out of that goddamn buffalo, and they're like, eat this mug in front of everybody, like, give me that fucking thing. Blah, blah. And I had blood all over my face like a fucking badass. Goddamn right I would.
No chance.
You wouldn't. You'd be like, I need something different than this. This isn't good, okay? I need like wheatgrass or something. Like, fucking eat this. You'd be dead in 2 seconds, dude. Jeez.
I'd eat the fish. But I don't know, man. I mean, some of the stuff that
you gotta go to a river to get that, and they're in the middle of the fucking landscape. They're in the middle of a fucking prairie where they have buffalo, and they need to use every part of that buffalo to survive. Every piece of that buffalo.
They go right in, they slice it up, and they like grab the heart and all the guts. They just grab with their bare hands, dude. No gloves, like no plastic gloves or anything.
Plastic.
They're like diseases and stuff on that. Like, come on now.
Yeah, I mean, of course, there's diseases on everything, dude. But you got to cook it the right way. And you could eat fish that'll kill you. You got to cook fish right. There's a blowfish out there that'll fucking kill you. And even if you cut it up and you touch a part of it, it'll fucking kill you.
I seared tuna last night, dude.
It's the easiest thing in the world to do.
And it's
the easiest thing in the world to do. Sear it like
no. You got to do it perfectly. I seared it. Okay, in a pan, hot pan.
Oh yeah,
very hot.
Out of that.
Dude. I gotta have you over for some of this seared tuna, man.
I'll eat the fuck out of fish. I love sushi, baby.
Okay, but I'm watching the Meat Eater real quick, and they were hunting down this bear. They were gonna kill this bear. By the way, a bear just mauled somebody the other day in Alberta. First time, I think the 5th bear attack in Alberta since 1958.
Can I give you a comparison?
No, but that could have been me, dude. When I saw the bear, when I went toe to toe with the bear in California, right outside of Lake Tahoe, and the bear was staring me down, and I had to protect my family, dude. I had to get everyone.
You didn't do a damn thing. Now listen, you're more likely to get hit by a car going out your busy ass fucking street in your busy ass subdivision because your subdivision is busy. There's no UFOs by your subdivision because they're like, it's too fucking busy. They come out by me. Okay. So don't worry about that stupid fucking bear. You had no chance in hell anyway. The bear's probably like, I'm fucking going to go eat like popcorn out of this fucking garage over here. They don't care about your skinny ass anyway. But here's the deal. You have 5 people die in Alberta with bears. Think about the lockdown in Australia right now. They're locking down that whole country. There's been 9 deaths with COVID. 9. The whole country locked down. The prime minister, I believe it is, comes out and says, we don't want you to even talk to your neighbor. Do not socialize. This is such a threat. And there's been 9 deaths. Like imagine Alberta shuts down because of bear deaths. And
there's been 5 bear deaths since 1958. It's not like it's.
I thought you said this year.
No, since 1958.
But didn't it happen in Montana though? How many deaths last year in Montana?
That was a grizzly. The grizzlies will kill.
A
few other people were hiking in Montana like last week, a couple days ago. They got attacked by a bear, but they used the bear spray, dude, and the bear spray worked. Yeah, and they had some minor injuries, but they survived. Like I'm not hiking in Montana. I thought Andy, I was, but I'm not doing it now.
Not without a gun. Not without a 45 or a fucking something big pistol.
All these guys on Meat Eater, I'd go with these guys.
Oh, hell yeah. I go with some Navy SEALs. I go with my shit-kicking fucking military folk. I want to go on a 5-day trip without drinking, smoking, nothing. Just eat off the fucking land for 5 days. Let my body regroup. Dude,
I can take you on a place to do that.
I don't want to go with you. Scared out of my fucking mind. I'm with you. It's like going with a child. Dude, I got to carry you around. No.
I'm taking you camping.
Andy, I don't need you taking me camping. I don't want that. I ain't going.
Why?
I want to go camping on my own because I don't need you to go camping. I want to hang out with my military friends, man. They're like,
they can come. Me. They can come too.
No, then they got to take care of you. I want them to take care of me.
But the Grizzlies, that's why I would need a gun. You know, I'm anti-gun. I'm not dealing with the guns.
It's the stupidest thing in the world. And I'm not even a gun getter, but you're like, I'm anti-gun.
No,
no. How about you're anti-criminal? How about your anti-illegal gun?
Cam, I'm not a gun guy.
Neither am I.
I shouldn't say anti-gun. I'm not a gun guy. But unless I'm hiking in Wyoming, Idaho, or Montana, or Alberta.
How about like defending that weirdo robber that's going to break in your fucking house?
Dude, I don't have any of that. And you said traffic. There's no traffic in my neighborhood.
You're so naive, dude. You're so fucking naive. I don't have any of that. What are you fucking talking about? You live in the outskirts of St. Louis, which is like fucking Afghanistan. Who are you kidding? We don't have any of that. Fuck, in Eureka, we're getting robbed left and right by these 15-year-old kids with guns. And you don't have it in your fucking neighborhood? Get out of here, naive fuck.
Those are like drug withdrawing like savages.
They're fucking robbing our cars and going back down to the city. You don't think they're going to drive to your fucking house and do it?
Listen,
we don't have that here. I'm worried about bears.
I can leave my house and cars unlocked.
That's the dumbest fucks. You're so dumb.
And plus, I've got a surveillance system.
That's going to work. Yeah. They're going to look at that. They give a fuck. They come up and they come out of their car in 2 seconds and they look for everything that's on. Are you crazy? Yeah. All right. I'm done. I can't anymore. Don't be naive when it comes to that shit, dude. Don't be fucking naive.
I live in the safest neighborhood in town.
No, you don't. The fuck you do?
I do.
Where's that stat at? Show me that stat.
They're very smart.
Who?
Very smart.
Who?
My neighbors are very smart. What
are they gonna do? Your neighbor's cooking curry. He's fucking cooking curry, having you chop his tree down because you know what the fuck he's doing. Yeah, he's saving you. The fuck are you talking about?
I had to tell him the other day because his tomato plants were like growing a little too crazy. I was like, dude, they got it. Like, it's coming into my property. Like, you got to cut those tomato plants.
Your neighbors ain't fucking saving you. Now, I'll tell you, my neighbors, they're all fucking armed out here, homeboy. They all big time. They got all kinds of. Come on down here. Come on down the Wild West out here and see what the fuck you're going to do.
That's a little more. That's a little
Come on out here.
It's a little too roughneck for me out there. Okay?
My neighbors are all successful as shit. They're all like fucking CEOs at fucking crazy, but they have AK-47s in their fucking basement.
Well, okay. That's just enough of that.
Wait, enough of what?
Well, they don't need to have all that. What are they trying to do? You know,
I didn't say they needed it, but they're not committing crimes.
Well, for them to even own it,
they're not committing crimes, Andy. They shoot it. They like to shoot guns, man. I don't know.
What do they like? The McCloskeys? Remember them? That family.
I don't blame them either. To be honest with you, you got fucking 15,000 fucking protesters coming in your neighborhood, and you're not gonna come out with a fucking gun. The only thing different I would do is I would have a gun in I'd have my fucking pistol in my pocket. I'd have my wife locked in the goddamn, and I'd give them water and be nice to them and just give them water.
Hey.
But I'd have my fucking gun ready to go. If you come in my house, give them water. Like, be happy.
Yeah.
Like, good. We like what you're doing. Yes. And just be nice to them. And if anybody wants to come rob my house, I'll put you down. And that's it. You come near my fucking family, you're down.
My buddy,
give them water.
My buddy he's their attorney, dude. Who's like doing all the news shows. His partner, Joel Schwartz, he's doing it.
Yep. I know.
We'll give Joel a shout out. And Rosenblum. I always say there's one phone number you need in your
fucking Rosenblum.
In your phone.
I saw him at an event one time. I go, "What up, homie?" I go, "Give me your fucking card." He's like, "You can't afford me." I go, "Fuck you." I go, "You're probably right though. You can't afford me." I'm like,
oh, well, some of these other guys can. I mentioned Car Shield again, 800-857-2481. Seems like hours ago.
Yeah.
But also our friends over there at Bellman and Bellman Automotive. I can't wait for hockey season to start.
We're talking everything, dude. Hey, this is what's going on in the goddamn. I mean, what other podcast does this? Like, we talk about everything, dude. It is what it is. Fast forward it.
800-857-2481. That's Car Shield. Mention the promo code CAM, or maybe not. I don't know, but you'll save 10%.
Okay.
We have no crime out here in the
naive. You're like a little schoolgirl. Like, everything's happy. Hey, rainbow. Fuck, man, you're crazy, dude. You're insane. You're in fucking St. Louis, homie.
Bellman Automotive, BEHLMANN.com. Give them a call today or stop on by, and you can surely make sure you get the best customer service anywhere, man. They got everything over there in Troy, Missouri. The Cadillac, the Buick, the GMC on one side of the street. On the other side of the street, they got the Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. So be sure to check that out. Nothing better than our friends over there with Bellman Automotive. Say what up to Dan Bellman. You know, he's going to take care of you. Best customer service anywhere. Plus, they're going to buy your used car. So check that out and do it today. And, of course, Daredevil Hockey. mention the promo code Cam and Strick. You will save 25%. Get yourself protected. Get the top protection with our friends over there with Daredevil Hockey. All right. Again, camandstrick.com. You missed any previous episodes, check it out there. You want to be a partner of ours, reach out. We'd love to have that conversation with you as well. All right. We thank Donnie Granado for joining us on this edition of the Cam and Strick podcast. You know, we've got some great ones coming your way. Follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and hit me up on Cameo, too. I've got some new ideas that I'm kind of throwing out there on Cameo.
Hey, motherfucker, I do 5.5-minute cameos, and I even fucking bring that mug up. I say, look, I'm not just like, hey, happy birthday there. This is Cam. Happy birthday. See you later. I'm like, what? Yeah. And I look around the house, and I fucking do this. I'm 5.5 minutes, man.
Dude,
I bring the fucking
no one has 5.5 minutes. Like I got
5.5 minutes. I don't have kids, homie. I sit in my backyard. I'll walk you through the graveyard and shit. I'll look around.
Happy birthday. I hope you have a wonderful birthday. And thank you so much. And you tell Jim to have a wonderful birthday. I hear he likes old-fashioned cars.
I hear you like the blues. Let's go blues. Happy birthday, and we'll talk soon. No, I'm like this. What up, homeboy? Da 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 da. Ba 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 ba. The dogs are barking. Ba ba ba. Go outside. Oh fuck, there's a snake. Okay. Let me kill that mug. Ba 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 ba.
Oh, we've got snakes too. I've got the black and white snakes. Actually, I was walking around the yard barefoot the other day.
Snakes out where you live. Get the pussy non-venomous snakes.
I've got
with the round heads, not the square heads.
We've got wealthy snakes out here. Very wealthy snakes.
We got ladybugs out here, dude. This is a wealthy part of the jungle. We don't even have like spiders. We have ladybugs.
Yeah, but listen. Sources say you're in the middle of like a neighborhood. I didn't know you were like in like a development. I thought you had you're on a golf course in a development. This changes everything.
Oh, I know.
You're not in the middle of nowhere. You're not in the middle of nowhere. You're in a neighborhood.
Hey, look it up online. It's called St. Albans, Missouri. It's exactly. I don't make me do the historical aspect of everything again. Where Lewis and Clark came out here. It's a subdivision, literally 40 miles in the middle of a rolling hills area where the Missouri River connects to all these bluffs.
Yeah, okay,
and they made a subdivision out here, and it's unbelievably beautiful. But we could see the stars because it's so far away from artificial light to where you could see the constellations and shit.
I'm not really seeing that many stars. I saw a man-made.
Why don't you come out here then?
I saw a man
out here.
I saw a man-made waterfall that you showed. Man-made, not natural.
That was the top. Listen, we have 2 golf courses out here. They're top 10 in Missouri. One's like top 5.
They were. I don't think they are anymore, but they were
a while ago. I look up, right? Stop. You trying too hard to chirp, man. You're just trying. I think Patty Maroon's going to move out here too, by the way.
Oh, move?
I'm convinced.
No, he's not doing that.
No, Frankie don't want it. Frankie wants to be like. She wants to be in a poor part of Ladue.
She wants to be here.
She wants to be in Ladue, I think. But I'm like Patty. Yeah. So we're all going to golf here, Andy. I'm going to invite your ass out here too.
I can't wait.
And
I'm fun golfing with, dude.
Oh, I bet you are.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
What are you going to tell me stories about the draft in 2003? Like where you were when Covey got drafted.
All right, we got to get out of here.
All right, man. I'm tired.
It's time to go.
Jesus
Hope you enjoyed Donnie Granado.
I hope I don't piss anybody off. I love all you guys. I love all you guys. I swear to God.
Hey, what's the disclaimer people read at the end of like certain podcasts? Like the opinions of this podcast do not necessarily reflect.
He keeps me on for 3 hours, and I'm just like, you want me to ramble? I'm gonna fucking ramble. I love all you guys.
They don't.
I love military. I love you guys, man.
The opinions. Cam's opinions don't reflect mine. Just so people know. I'm
Cam's
separate.
Opinions don't reflect the Cam and podcast. That makes
they don't. No, they don't. Or mine, or my views, or my family, or anybody in my neighborhood.
God.
We are different over here.
Different.
All right, we got to get out of here. Until next time.